robotic delivery on her gets away with a disperse.
Some damage on the best. Stone Shield prevents almost all of the Fearless. Right.
Shadow keeps juking Real. Real can't find the hit. Shadow's still alive.
He's fighting for his life. He's fighting for the championship. He's fighting for everything he stands.
It's their game to lose.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 58 of the Smite Update. My name is Octane Pro. Tonight, as always, joined by F. How's it going, buddy?
Absolutely fantastic, my friend. How's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. Folks in chat, you can see that we don't have Fats on tonight. He is not available this evening, so we have gone ahead and asked Wolfie to come back and join us. Wolfie, how's it going, man?
I asked him. I don't like this guy.
What's up, guys?
Good deal. Good deal. Well, guys, we got a good show for you tonight. Lots of juicy stuff going on tonight. A lot of stuff going on in the scene to talk about that was released this past week within the esports scene. Decent amount of community news to go over. Got some juicy drama to talk about as well. So a little bit of everything to go over with you guys tonight. In the meantime, before we get started, F. What have you been up to tonight? Today, actually, this week.
Well, I spent the last two days casting the SWC. So usually I'm just here camped out watching all the action, and today I was calling it with Hindu Man, and that was actually exciting. It was the first time I got to cast with Hindu Man, and yesterday I got to cast with Brandon, and I mean, nobody likes to show favorites, but honestly, Brandon's one of my favorite people to cast with. I really like to listen to his casts, and being a part of it is really fantastic. And honestly, we kind of killed it, so it was a good time.
Yeah. It also helps when you're moving your camera at the same time I'm trying to adjust the camera, so that works good.
I didn't touch my camera, homie. It's right there.
Dude, I will have to say though, with all your casting going on right now, it's been a busy past few days for you. To be honest with you, I'm surprised you actually have a voice for the show today, just with casting.
I take care of it.
Casting,
I spoon-fed myself a lot of honey. Right now, I'm drinking a naked shake. So
good call.
I do this for a living ? I do this professionally ? I do it in a big capacity. So I take all the necessary steps to protect my, the old voice, the old
voice. Wolfie, what about you? What have you been up to this past week? Playing a lot of ranked like usual, or what?
Oh yeah, streaming a lot, playing a lot of games. I'm actually learning some new characters and reteaching myself some old ones that I used to play.
Shout out to Merc. What the hell?
I know how to play Merc, but what I should have done, really, is I should have just been taking Freya away from them, because I kind of forgot from not playing competitive play for a long time that the Freya raw combo is really annoying to deal with.
Yeah, it is.
And then it's just like, I should have just paid Freya. I think any character that would have played that game except Freya would have probably got rocked, like no matter what happened. It's just their team.
You know what it is, Wolf? Like, I just kind of picture you like playing thick gods, as in like wide, like thick.
Yeah.
What are you saying? What are you saying, bro? What are you saying? You saying like your Kumakarnas, your Mirs, What are you saying?
Like when I see Wolfie go out there with chalk, I'm like, that makes sense. It's a big Puerto Rican dude.
All right.
And then you jump on Mercury, and he's like, Mercury, and I'm like, that's not Wolfie. What is this going on?
Little skinny twig.
I was completely like, it was out of this world, but it was cool to watch. It was exciting, and you pulled a couple of good moves. It was fun.
So, yeah, I mean, Wolfie, past week we saw you subbing on 5 Angry Men. Well, that's kind of a big deal because, what was it, just that week after we were talking about it, and we were talking about, somebody had put in, one of the questions the community had asked us and sent in was, where do we see Wolfie? Where do we see him going? And F. was actually spot on. It was like, probably somebody like 5 Angry Men, and he was spot on. I'll give him credit. So what's all going on with that for people watching?
DJ wasn't available this weekend. I don't know why. Didn't really comment. And
Too busy eating citrus.
Probably. And then they needed. There wasn't much time in the SWC left for like the first LAN event, and they really needed 3rd place really bad. And Yeah, I said I'd play with them because it was unlikely for me to get on a team before the LAN event anyway. So, and I knew them for a long time. I'm like, I can get you third place. I can do that. I can't guarantee that we'd be the best team in like the world because we don't have enough time to like work together. But I can get you third.
Is that it?
We could do
Is that
third.
it?
Like
Is that it?
that's honestly what it came down to. I said in the beginning of the week also that the chances of me staying on the team are probably low because they've developed their own synergy and everything. And it's
Sure.
really late in the season to make that happen for right now anyway. Like if it was coming about the pro league and everything, that's a completely different story. But starting up now for the LAN event and the next week, it's really unlikely for me to be on a team. Just because everyone's been playing with each other for too long. So.
You know what you should do, Wolfie?
What's up? Go ahead.
I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this.
I love
Do it.
Wolfie, you need to go grab 5 other players that have no business being in an amateur tournament and just go stomp the Challengers Cup.
Oh my word.
Like,
dude.
like,
oh
just
my
do
word.
it. There are players. There are help.
Why are you feeding Reddit right now? Why are you feeding Reddit?
Go call up Pon right now and be like, want to just grab 3 brain dead players and stomp on the Challengers Cup?
Oh my
That
word.
would be fantastic. And also, you know, seriously, on a serious note, if you go ahead and you make a team of competent people, you actually get, the way it works is the top 2 teams from the Challengers Cup get to vie for a position in the SPL. So on a serious note, I obviously know that's what you're looking to do.
Yep.
Go for it, dude.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of one of those things where it's either you sit on the sidelines and watch over the next like 6 to 7 months where things blow up, or you take that initiative. So I'll be eager to see what you do, Wolfie, because I mean we all know you're good for sure, and it'd be awesome to see you.
That's pushing it.
So, guys, before we go ahead and jump into community news for this week, I'll remind you guys that the audio version is available on iTunes. So please make sure you guys go check that out. If you guys want to go ahead and listen to the audio version on your way to work, while you're at the gym, while you're riding the train, or the bus, go check it out. Once again, it's available on iTunes. Just look for Smite Update. And if you are an iTunes listener, please make sure you guys hit the feedback button below iTunes there on the webpage and give us some feedback. 5-star reviews are always appreciated and push us up in the ranks. So please make sure you guys go do that. So let's go ahead. First thing under community news is they're actually looking to release a Bacchus skin that is community voted upon. And I'll go ahead and put this in chat. And I already hear a chuckle. What's the chuckle about?
Because so my buddy Nick Pie, we're good buds. We play a lot. My buddy Nick linked this to me. He linked it to me and my friend Rock, and we saw it, and we both just went, "Look, there's clearly a correct answer here. Like, you gotta pick Elvis.
Yeah.
Like, it is the clear choice. Fat Elvis. What? It's the clear choice." So I don't think the opera one is bad, but like, you gotta go Elvis.
So Wolfie, which one are you in favor of? To be honest with you.
Well, my whole problem with these skins, I don't like the joke skins. But if I had to choose a joke skin, I'd go with Elvis.
Okay.
Are you on Reddit, Wolfie? Are you one of those people on Reddit making a daily thread about how our skins?
Nah. Yeah, there was somebody.
No,
I just saw that one where it was like, are we moving away from the traditional skins of the gods? And
You saw that one because they post it every damn day.
I support all skins that get released. I don't think any skin hurts the game.
Yeah.
But my personal favorite skins are usually the ones that are like the serious cool looking ones.
Okay.
I like badass. Like it's why I've always had the badass stuff. Like
I feel you on that. Like
I don't like privateer because it looks like a joke.
Yeah.
You have normal tier.
I just hate privateer.
Armor. It looks like a serious, and then you have little tiny hook tiers. Like
yeah.
And all the kind of stuff we could have did with him. This is what we did. Just like.
Well, how do you feel about Lil Mana?
I like.
That's what I'm saying.
What are you pointing at? What are you pointing at?
I like Lil Mana because he talks a lot of trash.
Okay.
That's my favorite thing about. He just talks trash. and the character was kind of based on me.
I was just gonna say that. I was like, I could completely see this character
Because
based
I'm
off you.
from Brooklyn, it was kind of based on me since I was like.
I claim a little bit of that. I was I spent some time in Brooklyn. I claim a little bit of mine of myself. I don't have the motivator right now, but
The bat. The bat. You
Yeah.
call it the motivator?
It's
That's
called
awesome.
the motivator. All right. I don't know where it's at right now, but I wish I did.
Uh-oh. Yeah, it's been some interesting conversation about just skins in general. Hi-Rez is definitely, just more recently, it feels like they've been moving in a direction of less genre focused with the theme of Smite and moving into some fun ones for sure. And they're all really cool and they're a lot of fun. But sometimes, I can agree with you, Wolfie, that you kind of miss the stuff that is some of like, look at like Odin's first few skins, like they're very traditional, but they're also cool and different looking. Like just stuff like that. Like my personal thought, as I talked about before, I completely dislike the gold and legendary skins. I think it's a cheap way to make a god look all glorious by just making his entire skin gold. I'd rather see them outfit him in gold. I'd rather see him in some sick gold outfitted armor that actually looks godly and glows godly.
But do you get it?
Get what? The
Yeah,
golden
the golden
ones
armor.
and the legendary ones?
They're supposed to be golden idol.
Correct. But
That's
I would
the idea.
rather see them be like, take a god like Mercury, take all of his armor and his breastplates and all, make him look like when you see like a movie, like one of those gods where they're like glowing, that effect. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see click. They're all gold.
It's a golden idol. It's supposed to be like.
Okay, fine. Change the legendary one then. Change the legendary one.
You see them a lot in the Hindu religion, and there's a famous Buddha statue.
Yeah.
The Buddha statue was a clay Buddha statue that was being transported, and the idiots that were transporting it dropped it, and a piece of the clay fell off, and it was a giant golden. It was a solid, thick golden Buddha statue. That's what those legendary and goldens are actually based on. The pure gold. Relics,
idol relics. Yeah.
So I see. The thing is, I was totally on your side once upon a time when I first started playing Smite.
Okay.
Before they changed the blue from, it was like this ugly McDonald's blue.
That original one. Yep.
Yeah, it was garbage, and I hated it, and I complained, and then somebody explained it to me, and I was like, oh, I like it now. I get it. Like, I just needed to get it.
Yeah. I mean, well, it is what it is. The skins are there as for the microtransactions for Hi-Rez to make money off of, and so they're making, these skins that make money. And I can understand it. I can understand, the kind of business model behind it. But, and moving on from the Bacchus skin voting that's happening on the Hi-Rez forums. On top of that, Smoosh, I guess is how you pronounce this website, Smoosh.com is named Smite the top 5 awesome games you can totally play for free. And this is kind of cool that they went ahead and posted this. These are some of the guys that did what was it? The Office of Smite. That is like a video series that you guys see that's posted on Reddit and stuff like that. And they listed a handful of free-to-play games, and Hearthstone's in there, Team Fortress 2, Star Wars: The Old Republic, and they went ahead and threw Smite in there as well. So I'm pretty happy about that. What are you chuckling about? I see the chuckle. What's the chuckle?
SWC sucks so much. I played the hell out of it. I beat it. Yes, I beat the MMO. I beat everyone on all the servers, pot 5, pot 9, doesn't matter. The game had no content. It was trash.
Tell us how you really feel. I mean, seriously.
I'm not allowed to. We're on Smite.
Yeah, right? That's right. Let's have an hour discussion about Star Wars. Third thing I want to show.
Just use the wrong words.
Yeah, right. Third thing I want to point you guys out to was talking about the Office of Smite. A pretty cool series, actually, rather creative, to be honest with you. They actually did the finale this past week, so that was posted up on YouTube. I'll put that in chat for you guys to go ahead and take a look at. Cool little series. Have you guys checked these out at all before?
Yes.
Which ones?
The Office of Smite series.
I actually have, and I actually enjoyed them. I don't like stuff like that, but I actually enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was pretty sweet. I thought it was interesting for Hi-Rez to like go through and concept, because Hi-Rez is sort of like behind it, right? Like the Warp Zone are the people in the video, the actors individually. Yeah. But Hi-Rez encouraged them to do something, I think.
Okay.
And it, like I said, I don't like stuff like that. I'm not into it. I don't watch any YouTube period stuff, except of course for FG3000. I don't watch any like anything going on like that. I don't like funny stuff. I'm boring. I want competition, but I'll watch that. And I gotta give a shout out to my man Penguin of Death. That stuff is hilarious.
Yeah, you had mentioned that.
Stuff
You had
on
mentioned
video?
that last week.
I watched a little bit. I don't really like sit there and watch all of them, but I've watched a few of them.
Yeah, like see the thing is they're like 3 minutes, and I'm totally down to like watch that for 3 minutes.
It fits
you
your
know?
attention span. It fits your attention span for 3 minutes perfectly. I'll
I
be honest with you.
casted 3 55-minute games. I'm going to punch you.
Moving on from there, Let Freedom Ring this past weekend. Hi-Rez Studios went ahead and unlocked all gods for this past weekend. Went from the 4th to the 6th, which is today. So it was pretty cool actually to see that. Hi-Rez hasn't really done that, to my understanding, in the past. So it was really cool to go ahead and see them allow that to be available for a lot of people. There's quite a few people that I'm friends with which don't. They don't have the God Pack. They play the game very, very casually. And when I told them about this, they were super excited because there was a lot of gods that when they viewed the game, they were really excited to try, but they weren't willing to spend the money and stuff like that. So this was really, really cool idea. Really happy that Hi-Rez decided to do this, which was awesome. Last thing I want to talk about, which was somebody actually sent us an email on the Smite update here and said, have you guys noticed that Hi-Rez Studios is hiring a mobile game programmer? Any thoughts? Any thoughts? I know F.Dot's smiling, and he's been to the studios, probably signed an NDA and all that fun stuff. But, Wolfie, any thoughts?
Doesn't affect me. Doesn't affect me in the slightest. I'm not going to be playing on mobile. I'm playing on a computer.
Nah, Wolfie's gonna quit Smite to play Smite Wars. It's the new version of Mafia Wars with all new Smite gods. You need to pay $5.99 every 5 minutes if you want to play. That's a total joke, please.
Yeah, right?
Please don't,
Yeah.
like, fire me. But no, I mean I have no idea. I think it's really
Okay.
cool because mobile stuff. So I don't think they're gonna come out with Smite for iPhone like that. Realistically, be real. I don't think that's gonna go down. I don't even think it's gonna be a mini game type
You
thing.
think it's going to be like an armory, kind of like how WoW had, where it was kind of just like a resource?
I really and truly hope it's esports based, but
Okay.
we'll see. A lot of people like to complain about that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
but because at the end of the day, what are you really gonna do? Like, what are you really gonna do? You're gonna like put Tier Monster on the phone? Like, hey, this is Zeus. These are his 4 abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Here's his passive. Want to read the lore?
Yeah.
Like, is that really what they're gonna do? Does that make sense to put money into? Probably not. Just take your God page, slap an M in front of it, m.smitegame.com, call it a day. You're Gucci. I'm sure there's a lot more work involved in that. And I'm
Oh,
sure
really?
gods
Yeah.
have to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry for trivializing all your work at Hi-Rez. But in reality, what the hell are you really gonna do besides make it esports based? So I would absolutely love it if we could see something like that come down. Like if any of you guys are familiar, if you follow currently, just because the U.S. is knocked out doesn't mean it doesn't exist. The World Cup has an awesome app. It tells you the scheduling, it tells you who's playing, etc. I would love to see something like that come out for the SPL because that's going to be confusing.
Yeah, I mean, they could definitely
True.
they could definitely do an esports side of things for sure to follow all these tournaments and stuff like that will be going on and break that down. I think that'd be great. They could very much do like kind of like the God Dictionary as just additional content. I think on top of that, they could do a stats page where you can search for players or look at top ranked players and top, you could really take a lot of that content and put that into one mobile app and make that available. And it's just another resource. I don't think I don't know that Hi-Rez is really going to move in a direction where they're hiring to develop a complete game based around it. This was on the Hi-Rez page, not directly on the Smite game page. This was just on the Hi-Rez careers page.
I got a Xbones 0405 Smite themed Uno game. Please don't come out with it. I will never leave my phone. I am a professional Uno player. Nobody can beat me. I love it. Like, I have clocked so many hours on the Uno for Xbox.
Oh my word.
I have Uno.
You're
Uno
that
attack,
guy. You're that
Uno
guy.
time attack. Uno, like, I have every Uno. I love it. You're all worse than me. It's great.
You are all
So Wolfie, what do you think about the mobile? Just them looking to hire a mobile programmer?
And this is something like I might just sound it. It really doesn't affect me, so I don't really pay attention to stuff like that. And I have no problem with it. I'm cool if they create something for everyone else to enjoy.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm all for it. But it really doesn't bother me. It really doesn't affect me. I don't really use a mobile app for anything.
Wolfie doesn't have a cell phone. Let's be real.
I have a cell phone. Don't lie to me.
Go back to
Don't lie
1991, bro. Come on now.
But it just doesn't really like. I don't really care.
Okay. No, for sure. Makes sense.
I hope people get some good stuff out of it. I hope they love it. But
Yeah, if it's not an SPL type scheduling app, then I don't really care either. But it's cool that they're coming out with something. But like I said, with the SPL, if you guys are uninformed, what's going to go on the SPL was announced last week. The pro teams, the top 6 pro teams.
Do you want to go over this? Do you want to go over this in the esports section because we're going to devote like an hour to it?
Yeah. Just basically the SPL is a whole bunch of pro teams play every single day, so scheduling's going to be confusing.
It's going to be
awesome. If they came
awesome.
out with an app with that, it would be dope. Anything else won't affect me in the slightest.
Yeah, it'll be pretty cool, to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to it, and we'll talk about some more there for sure. Last thing, Smite pugs are on Wednesday nights. If you guys are looking to, you're a ranked player, you play a ton of ranked, but, you're looking to take that next step and start to scrim, start to play as an organized team over at some type of voice software. Check out the Smite pugs are on Wednesday nights. I'll put a link in chat for you guys. They also will be on the comments on YouTube, so please go ahead and check that out. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. You guys have been awesome, continuing to send us lots and lots and lots of emails. I went through probably 60 to 70 this week, to be honest with you, and just picked out just a few random ones in there. A lot of repeats, a lot of just commented emails. But so guys, please send us question-based ones that actually have some level of thought behind them. Some of them are just kind of like, why is Dig so good? And it's like, come on, man. Like, why are you wasting my time on an email? But let's go ahead and jump into our community email section, and I will hand it over to F. to take question number 1.
Question number, which number did you want me to take?
Question number 1, please.
Okay, I thought you said 4. I figured maybe it start at number 4. Switch it up a bit.
Oh my word. I hate
Question
you.
number 1 from my man Kian. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, don't matter. The question was summed up as it was very long. Oh, that's Octane.
That's me, yep. I put that in there because the guy wrote like a 4-paragraph essay paper for us, and I wanted to go ahead and be like, okay, let's just break it down to be something very basic and simple, and then we'll talk about it. So go for it.
Word?
Word.
All right, no doubt. Do you feel Hi-Rez Studios... Did you type this up? You have terrible grammar.
I did.
Do you feel Hi-Rez Studios should put some type of role queue in place to stop the constantly BMing and raging over who is playing what role in casual queue? All right, I was down until you said casual queue. Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
Okay. So yeah, so this guy typed up quite a bit of an email about this, which is awesome. Thank you very much for doing that. We're not going to read the whole thing, but I definitely wanted to sum it up. And it's very much, and I see a lot of this, to be honest with you. This could be ranked. I mean, which there's a lot of anger in the ranked lobby when we're going ahead discussing who's going to play what role. You see a lot of it in casual queue as well. Some games, for example, I'm gonna put it out there. It's one of the bigger games out there. World of Warcraft, for example, when you want to go ahead, you want to do a dungeon or whatnot, you can select, okay, I want to queue for a dungeon, I want to be a tank, or I want to be healer or whatever. And then when you go into a game, it matches that all up ahead of time, so you already have that kind of set role put together for you.
Yeah,
so
League of Legends put it in.
There you go. Perfect. Okay, perfect. Wolfie, we'll throw it to you first. What are your thoughts on implementing something like this on some of the queues?
the game doesn't have enough players.
Okay.
That's just the game physically does not have enough players. You can't do that.
Do you like the idea when we do have the population, though?
I don't care about casual queue. I mean, casual queue, you pretty much go and do what you're gonna do. That's pretty much it. Like that's the joke around queue. And in ranked, you should know how to play the other roles anyway. And when you get into higher ranked, where you should be playing with people who you recognize and you know, you can tell them, oh hey, like for example, I'm not a good AD carry. If I'm last pick, I'm lowest elo. I'll play anything. Just try not to put me on AD carry, and someone else will take AD carry. Like, you let them know, but you should at least know multiple roles. So you should know at least 3.
I always say 3.5. Give me 3 roles. Give me 1 role that you can play absolutely lights out. You think Dignitas should hire you. 2 roles that you can do very well in, and then a role that you can like pick Ron the solo lane and don't feed. And then if you're the world's worst mid, then who cares? Like the chances that that's gonna happen, like whatever. But at least have 3.5.
Yeah.
Let them know. Let them know you
Exactly.
are really bad at whatever that last role is. Just say, I could do this, this, and this. I'm really bad at this. Don't put me on it.
And I never get mad at the guy that says, I'm ass support. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I always get mad at the guy that goes, jungle or feed. Like, get out of my game. Get out of my game. Be flexible. 3.5 kids. 3.5.
I mean, I like this idea to a degree, but I also have to agree with you, Wolfie. Like an idea like this almost molds the community to only know how to play 1 role. If people are just constantly queuing for it specifically, they're like, I always queue for mid, and that's the only thing I know how to play. And so I can agree with you. Like, once you get into ranked, it should be something where, as you said, when you're playing ranked, like, that's why they have you master 12 gods or whatnot. Like, they want you to be able to play a little bit of everything. So I think it's a really good idea. I mean,
which is the worst system known to mankind, by the way.
So, talking about that, how would you, which is fine, I'm all about it. How would you go ahead, what requirements would you put into place for ranked? If you could...
If I own the god, I should be able to pick it.
Really? Okay.
It legit limits me from being able to pick characters from my teammates. It screws over the entire trading system. It's really bad. It's honestly probably the worst thing. Because there's times where I can't pick Kumbhakarna because I don't play Kumbhakarna. I can't give my teammate a Kumbhakarna because I don't have him mastered. But I guarantee you give me him in ranked, I'll be able to play him.
Yeah.
He's not hard. Like, it's just that mastery system is bad. You're not gonna learn a character in 12 games anyway to be ready in ranked.
Okay. Yeah,
just because you have him mastered doesn't mean you know how to play him in ranked anyway. Anyway.
So if they open up the door and just allowed you to go ahead and play any god that you had available to you, would there be a second level of requirement or no? Like, some guy could jump on, get to level 30, buy the god pack, should be able to get into ranked. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yes.
That's fine.
But that brings me over to my other point about ranked, that I can completely destroy this whole, like, I can destroy the current problems in ranked.
Okay.
And disprove what a lot of people's complaints are about ranked.
Well, then why don't you do it?
Easily. All right, 1. You should not get elo for your first few games in ranks. You should have what we call placement games. They're worth 0 elo. You have 0 elo in these games. And these 10 games that you're supposed to be playing, you're against other placement people. Now, if you win all 10 games, you should be rewarded with silver like 3.
Okay.
And have elo appropriate for silver 3, and then work your way up. You should not have someone in their second game of ranked in my game.
I love seeing your Twitter messages about that. I saw that.
What are you gonna do? Like, in all fairness, what is Joe Schmo on his second game of rank gonna do against Grishank? I want to yell at him. I want to call him bad. I want to be at him. It's his second game in rank.
Yeah.
And he's against Grishank, who has 300 games. What is he gonna do?
I've been pushing for the placement match thing for a while now, since Ranked came out, just because of coming from like StarCraft 2 and stuff like that. And I completely agree with you. I think it's an awesome idea. I didn't even think about not even rewarding Elo, but I think that would work great. And I mean, Hi-Rez Chris is in chat. So, Hi-Rez Chris, here it is right here. The problem to fix all problems.
You go 5-5. You go 5 wins, 5 losses. You should be in bronze with 1,200 Elo or 1,000 Elo.
Yeah.
You go 5-5. You go 0. You go 0-10. You're in bronze 5 with 1,000 Elo. You're in an Elo that you should be in.
Yeah.
And you get to gain it up, and you don't have that feeling of, oh, I got screwed over my first 2 games. No, because they're placement matches. You win all 10. You're not even that far up. Should be fine. I got into a game with 3 people on their first game in ranked. 3 people on my team.
Yeah.
And I was like, how am I supposed to win it? Like, I understand that there's not a lot of people, but there's 3 people on their first game. You should just be like, Wolfie, I'm sorry, there's no one you can play with. You have to wait another 7 minutes. Cool. I'm down. I got people to talk to. I got Twitter to look at, Reddit to. I'm good.
Yeah, no, I could agree. I mean, I think if they'd put a poll out there saying, you know, are you willing to wait longer for a better matchmaking approach to ranked, would people say yes or no? I'm pretty sure a majority of people, when it comes to ranked, would say yes, I'm willing to wait, you know, X amount of time for it. So I could agree. Any last comments regarding just the role queue per se before we move on to question 2?
Yeah, I think the role queue issue is, as we said, the amount of players that are playing right now. There's just not enough. It just wouldn't work out. Role queue would be interesting in the imaginative in-between queue. Casual queue needs to exist so that I can queue up with my 2 girlfriends that don't know how to play the game. Yeah, I said 2. And then, like, tri-lane with them. That's what that should be about. Like, I should be able to jump in lane with Freya on my left hand, Athena on my right, and just go ham because they're over and, like, meta be damned. That's what casual should be. Don't ban my stuff. I want to come home late at night and play Evo in the solo lane. And taking that away is ass. That's why there's no casual 1v1 joust, because joust doesn't make sense without bans, and casual doesn't make sense with bans.
Sure,
so
I can see it.
Do I think you should be able to roll queue for casual? Absolutely not. Do whatever the hell you want to do. Do I think you should be able to roll queue for ranked? Absolutely not, because it's going to limit the type of stuff that people are able to play. Do I think you should be able to roll queue for casual draft conquest? Yes. Too bad it don't exist!
You also have to remember, as we go, you have to look at Smite and just how many game modes it has and stuff like that. We're going ahead and taking the population and stretching it out thinner and thinner as we keep adding all these different game modes and all these different queues. So you have to remember that, like, you know, our biggest issue right now, you know, is population. And if we keep adding all of these, you know, just saying.
I don't get behind it. I don't get behind it, and I'll tell you exactly why.
Okay.
Dudes that play Arena all day ain't playing Conquest.
That's true. That's
so
true.
people that play Domination quit, or they move to Arena. Like the dudes that so one of the cool things about Smite is that they offer all of these different game modes, so that, you know, I have a friend, Strangelove. She's a YouTuber. She just prefers the Arena. And I'll drag her into Conquest sometimes because I'm that guy that only plays Conquest. Doesn't matter how pretty you are, you're playing Conquest. I'm not playing Arena. But, like, you know, she just prefers Arena. When she queues up by herself, she's not going to go into Conquest.
Yeah.
So it's not always the same people. And casual, ranked, and like I said, this magical in-between that doesn't exist, it's the same player base that want to do different things. I always want to play Conquest, but at 1 in the morning, when I, like, come home from a party, I'm not trying to lose elo.
You're not playing ranked? I don't understand.
I just want to play some casuals. I want to poop on people with Thanatos. Like, I'm not in it to, like, go ham. But am I taking, like, because of that extra game mode, am I lowering the play? No, I wouldn't have played it anyway at that point in time. So the amount of game modes that we have isn't watering down the community. It's just the fact that we're opening up the doors to people that wouldn't have played Conquest anyway.
Okay.
I play a lot of casual.
I can see that.
I play some draft mode casual Conquest when I didn't want to play ranked every now and then. I would do that. I don't play casual because I don't like playing non-draft mode. If there was a draft mode casual Conquest, I'd play casual draft mode Conquest.
Okay. Moving on to question number 2 is from Taylor. Who have you found is the best support to team up in dual lane with the new God Hunter Rom? I'll throw it to you first, Wolfie.
I'm not an AD carry player. I'm not. I don't focus on that role. I don't know. I can tell you what's good after observing other people, but I have absolutely no idea where Rom. I could play him right now and poop on people, and I still wouldn't know what I'm talking about because I'm not a good AD carry player. I accept it.
All right. Who have you seen? Who have you seen do decently well with Rom when you're playing?
I've seen whoever played it. I've seen Zach play it, and I've seen Mogi play it, and I've seen Ally play it, and they raped with anybody they had on the team.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna say, I always have to mention this whenever we bring up Rom.
Okay.
I beat Zapman in lane.
Oh, my word.
I not only won those games, but I also beat him in lane. I beat him in individual hunter duels. Man's got a.
So should we have sent you instead of Barracuda to do 1v1 versus Zapman then? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
We would have seen a better show. Yeah, 100%. I think that the Hi-Rez should have flown.
So Blanque 1v1. Oh man.
Yeah, they should have flown me down, and I would have beat up Zapman. Yeah.
Wolfie.
Tweet that Zapman's ego. What?
Oh my god, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
That was a good day. But as far as Guardians that work well with Rom, Ares is insane with Rom.
I can see that.
You get poke. I just like Ares in general, but Ares and Rom, you're dead before you realize it. It's really powerful. If you get the early Ares ult, you get the grab into the stun. That's a guaranteed 3 shots from the Rom ult, which is going to kill you. It's fantastic. As far as other than that, Bacchus is nice because you get to give him blue.
Yeah, that's true. I can see that. For sure. I mean, I was thinking Ares right off the back just with the shackles effect, but I can definitely see that as well. So
can I just bring this up?
Please, go for it.
Who else? Odin to be good because you can give him blue. Odin is still real in the support.
Very.
Odin is still real as a support, believe it or not. So if you give Odin blue buff, like, that's still a lot of damage and a double slow. Now that I think about it.
When you're thinking about Rom, you got to think about who you got to think about who will benefit from a blue buff. So.
Okay, that's good. That's a good point. That's a good point for sure. Moving on, Wolfie, you want to take question number 3?
Ease. All right. For some reason it scrolled up. Okay.
That's all good.
Do you think No. All right. So it says, do you think Aphrodite is favored too much in tournaments, and Chang'e can almost completely cancel out? No, you can't. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. Let me put this in perspective right now. Okay. What makes Aphrodite amazingly OP is not that her heal in the middle of team fights, for one. It's the fact that after the team fight is won or lost, she heals you for objectives. Like, when you're sieging down a tower, you're not stopping your healing because they poked you. Now they're standing in front of the tower getting healed.
Yeah.
And then, not only that, the problem is that she can ult while CC. These invulnerability abilities exist, but you can never do them while you're CC. Kayle is OP in League of Legends. She's almost first pick, first ban status in League of Legends. She has almost the same exact ult as Aphrodite, but she can only do it on someone else and herself.
Oh, it's one or the other.
She can't do it while CC.
Right.
Okay.
She can't do it while. If you CC her and kill her, dead. You should be able to do that to Aphrodite, but you can't. Not only that, but her heal does damage, which is fucking
Yeah, Aphrodite's strong as hell. So I'm gonna go ahead and disagree slightly with Wolfie. We're gonna disagree which road to take, but we're gonna wind up at the same damn place.
Okay.
I think the heal during fights from Aphrodite is still damn strong.
Oh yeah.
It's still a big deal. Everything about that character is a big deal.
I agree.
But Chang'e can almost completely cancel out healing with Divine Ruin. On paper. On paper.
But actually applying it, yeah.
Yeah.
She has to be in the middle of the team fight and all the other nonsense, and she could die, etc.
Exactly. In the solo lane, you're 100%. DM said this to me yesterday. He's definitely right. People are just playing Chang'e wrong with respect to how laning against a healer. You treat her like Sun Wukong. You just constantly poke with that Divine Ruin online, and you're gonna shut the lane down. But I stress, you're gonna shut the lane down. You're gonna shut the lane down. Lane phase ends at 13 minutes in competitive play, for Christ's sake. Divios is already harassing your duo lane because he's new on. He's killed the tower. But
can I say something about that also? Not only that, but technically, playing Hebo with Divine Ruin is better than playing Chang'e with Divine Ruin, because Hebo's gonna snowball. Yes, because Hebo will actually beat Aphrodite in lane harder than Chang'e will. He becomes a hyper carry, And he's going to be focusing the target down anyway, so Afro can't focus the person down anyway. Like,
Okay, I can see that.
Hebo is honestly a better counter to Afro than Chang'e is because Hebo becomes the hyper carry.
Well,
That
Hebo's a
being
great
said-
counter to anybody with a life bar because he takes it away.
That's true. That is true. That is also true. But technically,
Such a smart
the
man.
actual counter to Aphrodite is making every other lane lose. Because Aphrodite could go 14-0 and not win the game if her AD carry in middle are doing bad. But Aphrodite could go 0-14. But he has that many other lane. 5-2, you'll win the game.
That is true. That is true. All right, fourth question from Aaron. He says, I play a lot of support, and I play the kind of support that you would look at and go, yeah, he was pretty good. So I wanted to get your opinion on the 3 pinnacles of playing support. I'll throw this to you first, F. What do you think are some of the top 3 things for support?
Rotations,
that's a good
decision
call.
making, and decision making.
Man,
You need to know-
You heard it here first. What do you got?
You need to know when to go in at the right time, when to stay in at the right time, when to die. Decision making. You need to know when to rotate. You need to balance how well your ADC. It's just a constant mind meld, honestly. Like I can sit here and tell you that mechanics don't matter as much because support generally have giant targets, but then you have to nail your hug on time. So mechanics certainly matter. It's more about positioning, rotation, and decision making. But decision making is the largest one in all of it because you have to make sure you're not on the left side of the map during Fire Giant time. You have to make sure that your ADC is good enough to stay in lane by herself if you're going to rotate and stay out of the lane, a la Jeff Hinla. You have to make sure that when you go in, that your team is going to back you up. If you go in as a support and don't get backup, it's your fault. It's your fault.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure, it might be your team's fault for baiting you, but you're supposed to be able to be smart enough to know that, look, they're in an awkward situation, they're not confident enough. Your job is to play psychologist as well as Smite. You got to recognize when your team is feeling confident, when your team is feeling unconfident. You got to recognize when your team wants to go in, when they're feverish. You got to recognize all of this stuff. And if you're just sitting there going, I know every 3 minutes mid-cam spawn and it's 10 minutes, so I have freaking hog, then you're doing it wrong. There's a lot of different things that go into playing support, and a lot of it doesn't wind up on the scoreboard.
Yeah, the biggest one, I mean, one that you pointed out for sure was just the rotations. It drives me nuts when I go ahead and do see, like, someone playing support, and yet they do not leave that lane to rotate at all. And it drives me nuts because it's like, your feet are not locked to that lane. You're so valuable, you know, going ahead and rotating when necessary. Now, granted, I understand the point where there are situations where supports will argue the fact that, oh, well, you know, I'm already behind in XP and in gold and rotating out of lane, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. When you rotate out of lane to go ahead and help with a team fight that's starting to come about in mid lane, like, it's so valuable. So I could agree with rotating without a doubt. Wolfie, what do you think for the person asking this question?
It's rotations, hogging, and mentality. Easy. You have to know how to rotate. You have to know how to leave your lane because you can't be in lane too much, but you also need to know when it's time to stay in lane. Because a lot of times, if you're not rotating faster than the enemy support is, then you have to know to kill that person in lane. If their support is already at mid camps and you can't be there, it's time for you to play aggressive on that AD carry and kill him.
Exactly.
Like, that is huge. You need to know when to do that stuff. So knowing how to rotate, when to rotate, and when not to rotate, and what to do when you're not rotating is the important part of rotations. Now, you need to know how to hog. Hogging will win games. If you can hog objectives, you will win games. Believe it or not. I come from League of Legends
professional
where
games.
yeah, I come from League of Legends where smiting is like really important, and it comes down to like a number. Like, you see the person under 736, it's time to like smite. So I come from that, and I used to jungle over there. So when I hog on stuff, I'm damn the moment it hits 25%. I'm like looking at that bar like, you gotta win. You gotta. Like, hogging is so important. Getting objectives is important. Not hogging mid camps when you got to take Go Fury after is important. Not hogging the wave when you have tier 3 hog is important. not hogging the jungle camps, denying your jungler EXP because you want extra EXP.
Yeah.
When you can take an objective is important. Knowing like that's
I
probably one of the
usually
most-
steal my jungle's experience.
I know that. Knowing how to save hog is probably one of the most important things as a support that most people don't do.
Okay.
And it's probably my biggest pet peeve. Now, mentality. As a support, it is almost your job to throw your life away for the team.
Yes.
Yes.
You have to take damage for your AD carries.
Or die for your AD carry if necessary in order to allow them to stay up.
But there are times where you don't. If they can take an objective after your team is wiping, you're more important to keep alive than your AD carry. But in lane, you might be more important to die. It might be more important to keep your AD carry alive than you. So mentality plays a huge role. Knowing how to initiate, but also understand that you're a support to initiate and then back off and peel for your DPS.
Exactly.
There's 2 supports in competitive play that do this, and I'm not gonna say who they are because I don't want to embarrass everybody else. There's 2 supports in competitive play that do
Homie, this is Smite game. That's what we do. Name them.
Yeah, we don't hold back. There's no restrictions here, bro.
I'm not inviting you back if you don't drop names.
Alright. The 2 supports in NA that do this, Shadow Q and Jeff Endler. They're the 2 supports in NA that do this. Now, I don't watch EU tightly enough to know who does
I knew you was gonna
but
say
I
that.
knew SunTouch used to do it. And it is the hardest thing in the game to do. And why is it? Because you use your cooldowns, you go in, you're trying to fight, you're thinking, I need to beat this guy, I need to beat him down. And he's like, wait, there's a Loki on my boy in the back.
Yeah.
But I want to kill him, but I gotta go help him. Your job is to turn around and make that Loki's life hell. Now, the reason why I always used to say the Warrior meta was way easier to deal with than the Guardian meta is because the Guardians can actually do this.
Yep.
If there was a Loki in your AD carry and you had an Odin support, or you had a Wukong support, you had whatever they support, that Loki was killing your AD carry no matter how much you tried.
Yeah.
Just punch him really hard. Like.
But the moment you have a Sobek say, oh, okay, toss, you're 50 feet away from that AD carry. You're like, God dang it. And
Face me!
That's what a support is supposed to do. That is what you do. Let the bruisers and the junglers and the assassins kill that target. You initiated, you soaked up damage, you started the fight. Kudos to you. Take it down a notch. Defend the back line.
As a Guardian, you generally have one move that does damage.
Yeah, I can see
What
that.
do you do after that? As Athena, you drop your shield wall, and then are you really better off? Boom. 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 Or actually putting your stuff on cooldown. A cooldown not used is a cooldown wasted. If your cooldown is 8 seconds and you spend 8 seconds doing something else, you effectively wasted an entire set of cooldowns. And you're totally right. It's why we saw a lot of supports flourish when they didn't necessarily deserve to during the Warrior meta. Because what was your job? Your job was to left click and hit people. That's very intuitive. The support mindset of playing like Jeff or Shadow Q is it doesn't come naturally to a lot of people. And the three people you mentioned, Shadow Q.
Zimstar did it today.
Zimstar
did it today as Athena. When Smite was about to die.
That's awesome.
And he just stood in front of that Artemis and was like, if I die, but you're gonna live. And I was like, that Athena play was so he got it with like 2 HP, but that Athena play was so important that he just stood in front of him. And I was like, wow, Zimstar has the mentality to be a support. Okay, you can finish. You were right. Yes, that was. I just wanted to add another person on there.
Yeah, no, you're a dick because that's what I was about to say. I was gonna say same stuff. That's literally what I was queuing myself up to. I was gonna, announce reiterate what you just said about those 3 supports. But yeah, you're 100% right. It's a different type of mentality, and I was very excited when the Guardian meta came into play because, you know who else does it? Aeonic.
Okay.
Yes.
Aeonic's been doing it since I started watching Smite.
He's really
He's
selfless.
always been like that.
And he gets a lot of flack for dying a lot in games, but he might be giving his life away too much. For
Yeah, like I don't think he's the world's greatest support, but he's
still
got
pretty
the
good, though,
mindset, and that's the hardest thing to maintain.
Yes,
Aeonic will learn how to protect himself a little bit more, but it's really hard because you're so ingrained from playing different stuff. You go deep into the fight and then come all the way back to like use a taunt once. That sounds dumb, but when it saves the guy that's doing 27,000 player damage, it's worth it.
Yeah.
You do 0 DPS while dead, and as a support, I'm sorry, baby, you are not the highest DPS.
Nope.
So go save the dudes that do it. Go save the dudes that do it. I don't know, man. It's a mentality, and I like to see it. So
it's a mentality that I wish would be that you'd see it a little bit more, and people would learn from a little bit more outside of just like the pro scene, because I think it's so valuable. Like as you said, when you get into ranked and stuff like that, like sometimes you don't really see that, and you see people more concerned about their score or more concerned about their lane, and less concerned about making the plays necessary to keep the players that are, as F. exactly said, doing the most player damage alive in order to keep them snowballing. So I can agree.
There are some ranked players who do that better than competitive players.
Oh.
I'm gonna give a shout out to someone right now because this person deserves a shout out. All right, this person he is absolutely a genius.
Wolfie 2032.
No, his name is Cyberslane.
Okay.
Now, have you seen him on stream before?
I've seen him in other people's streams. Yeah.
He's a support player and he mains Neja support. Now, people on my stream were like, wait.
He's gone.
Wait.
He's gone.
F-dot,
he's like, I'm out. He's like, I'm out.
F-dot, come back. F-dot, listen.
I love it.
Listen to this.
I love it.
Listen to this. Okay, listen to this. You're going to say this or you're going to hate this. Because everyone on my streams has to say that this sounds retarded, right? This sounds retarded. He starts off with Vanguard first.
Really? Wow.
Think about it. He's got arguably the best peel in the game. And he's so good at Ninja, he lands his ults without 3. If you're ever on his AD carry, he ults you. What are you gonna do to kill his AD carry when you're ulted?
Yeah.
You're CC'd for like 5 seconds. He's the only player who can do it. You hate it. You hate it. But it has 2 amazing ways to initiate. He has arguably one of the best peels in the game. He has multiple slows. He actually does a decent amount of damage, and he has self-regen in the lane. His passive gives him regen.
Stop talking about this, because you know what's going to happen? I'm going to jump my next game. There's going to be people playing Naja support and have no clue how to play it. And be like, Wolfie talked about it. Wolfie said it's real.
All I'm saying is I have to give a shout out to this person because he found something that works.
Oh, yeah. I think that's awesome, though.
And he's made it difficult for me to kill people in his games. He has single-handedly carry games on that character.
Naja support is something that I've just systematically hated. I'll give a shout out to a fellow Tier Monster streamer, Psycho Gamer, has been playing Naja support for a year. Like, he's been doing it straight for a year. And but F-Dot, you gotta stun, you gotta slow, your ult takes him out of the environment for so long. Get out of town. You don't get to, you gotta build sovereignty, you gotta build tanky. It just doesn't work. And at the end of the day, my main beef with mage support, Naja's included, where is your initiator? If you got a shot solo, I'm down.
He is the initiator. He initiates the fight.
Yeah, he can very well. I can see that.
Mode down.
No, he doesn't. He buys full defense. He really doesn't. It's actually not as. And you know what?
Just a lot of head shaking right now.
Arguments aside, if the character is viable or not,
yeah,
this kid
this guy's
or
good.
This guy is really good at support.
Yeah.
He can play other supports too. He has the mindset, but he has the mechanics to make a
That's
tight
cool.
character.
It's impressive
Nejao.
because going against that is good. I can only imagine. Like that would make me rage if I went into a lane against something like that.
Is so good on that character. He lands everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I can see the merits of it. The thing is, I will always prefer a tanky person as the support. Not just support strikes me like Habwa support. It's pretty cool to throw a Hebo in lane because he's gonna just knock you up and murder you. That's cool as hell. But when you want to go attack the fire giant and they have a front line and your front guy is yeah, like
Yeah, but he's full tank.
bro. Yeah,
He's
you're
full
still
tank,
gonna
Yeah.
murder him.
Yeah.
He's
You
not.
just
He doesn't.
ignore him. After the ult's done, he's done. Like there's nothing he does.
He's not. But that's the thing, though. He's not. Again, he's the peel. He's keeping your 80
That's
carry
why he's so
alive.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, he's keeping your 80 carry alive. What do you do when you have stun, an ult, and a slow?
All I'm saying is,
That's why they don't give that to sports. Yeah.
He has single-handedly stopped me from carrying games. I'm playing Nejao. I'm
Man.
telling you right now.
all I'm saying, if
Yeah.
you look at my recent match history, you'll see a lot of Najah.
Uh-oh.
I take a mid and buy a hockey lane, baby. Don't take my Najah for support.
Oh man.
I'm down with that too if you make it work. Again,
Man.
some of those ranked players are better at support than the pro players
That's
because
awesome.
they have the better mentality. And
Yeah.
that's all I wanted to say is shout out to those people who know what they're doing and they play it correctly.
No, I think that's
they
awesome.
have those mentality to die for their team and when not to die.
Yeah.
Really
That's a good call.
important. So
Sweet.
I still like Najah mid because you get to kill him at level 1 and then you just win.
You're so evil. You're so evil.
Tell me why it don't work.
So let's go ahead and we'll round out our community emails. Thanks to everybody that went ahead and shot in emails. If you guys would like to email the show, we do select a few of the emails that do go ahead and come in. Email them to smiteupdate@gmail.com, and we'll sift through those and grab a few of those to put on the show for next week. Also, on top of that, guys, if you guys are enjoying the show so far, please make sure you go down below on Smite Game, click the streamer feedback button. It's listed under Octane Pro, and just give us your feedback on the show. We really want to know, and what happens is that feedback goes directly to Hi-Rez. So Hi-Rez knows, hey, we should keep the Smite update, or we should get rid of it. So, please make sure you guys give us some great positive feedback, or if there's stuff, or if there are some things that you don't like, definitely throw it that way. But any feedback you guys can give would be awesome. So we're going to go ahead and run the Smite World Championship reveal video. It's not very, very long here, but when we get back, then we're going to be discussing all of the esports news that came out this past week, go into some great detail about it. So stay tuned, guys. We'll be back here in just a minute.
Hi-Rez and Smite will stake their claim in this amazing and awesome world that is competitive gaming. A lot is on the line for each of these teams, and they have fought hard to get here.
Jackie's still alive. Whirlpool gonna miss. Best it's down. And Dignitas takes the fight.
Amazing play.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Smite. This is the battlegrounds of the gods.
Alrighty, so we do have the Smite World Championships and the details about the path to the 600K happening in January. What'd you guys think of that video? Like it? Like it?
That's cool.
Yeah, just cool. That's it. That's it. Yeah, it's cool. More than $500,000. It's cool. What do you
I
think?
have my problems with it.
Really? All right, well, share it now before we
Yeah.
get into it. Share it now, bro.
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. I don't think there's enough teams. I think it is too cluttered. I think having two teams from NA and EU when they've clearly have more teams that deserve to be there is unfair to NA and EU teams. Personally, I'm personally fine with having two, like Latin America and two Chinese teams coming. That's perfectly cool and that's fine. But I think there's a lot of more EU teams and NA teams that have more than earned their right to be able to compete. But I just don't think it's fair for them. That's my opinion.
I feel you on that. I would have liked it to be 4-4-2-2, just because China and Latin America aren't really part of our internal scene, unfortunately. And China has their own legal reasons. Why don't we see Latin America? Is it just because it's just Saturday and Sunday? They don't want to throw one on Friday? When this information first came out, that's what excited me the most. To see some quality Latin American teams play.
That would be sweet.
And I gotta wait till January? What?
Yeah, that would be cool if Friday was just just like we do with Saturday and Sunday. It'd be cool if Friday was like Latin America or Monday, whatever it was, or even the middle of the week. Doesn't matter. It would be great if we were able to see that.
It's the
type of
language
tournament going
barrier,
on.
Probably. Honestly, they probably.
I would be
Spanish-speaking casters.
I would be completely okay with watching it regardless. I mean, I know the value of the casters and stuff like that, but if there was a difference between us seeing it and not seeing it, you know what I mean? Like I'd rather take it, so I can see it for sure. So
I would love to see a hot Latin chick just announced in the game. It'd be
the
awesome.
truth
The way
comes
they
out.
do
The
it,
truth
too,
comes out,
They come
dude.
in the big tacos and everything. Be like with the cat. I'd watch the Latin American tournaments all the time.
Oh man.
Oh, Maria.
Man. Why am I not surprised?
I'm not affiliated.
Why am I not surprised?
I'm not affiliated.
So,
let's
go ahead.
My favorite part of that video.
Yeah.
First of all, shouts to Clutch. Josh is a cool dude.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad he gets some FaceTime over there.
Yeah.
He hosted the event for us in Atlanta recently. But everybody see how grimy Xing looks in that video? Looks like he got to China and didn't bathe. I think it's hilarious. He's got his janky setup. For those of you that don't know, Xing plays with his hands on the number pad.
Oh, that's
something
right. He
ridiculous.
changes
and
his
he's just sitting there
hotkeys.
I'm Xing. Here we go. And I just think it's hilarious. I don't think he showered in China. It's great. I love Xing, but he definitely looked a little grimy.
So I went ahead and linked in chat, guys. It is the I guess it's kind of like the doc. It's almost like a PowerPoint presentation per se. It's a lot of content. We're not gonna dive in through every slide and stuff like that, but we'll definitely talk about it for sure. So those of you guys not familiar that don't stay connected with the esports scene as much, Hi-Rez went ahead and announced that they will be putting forth $600,000 in January for the Smite World Championship. It'll be 8 teams and include 5 different regions. Kind of what we talked about before. You'll have your 2 teams from North America, 2 teams from Europe. You'll have and then you also have the 1 from Brazil, 1 from Latin America, and then finally your 1 from over in China that will be participating. And it's very much going to be this very large, almost I don't know, I guess it very much could be like a funnel effect that they're going to have, where they're going to have a multitude of different tournaments available, different qualifiers, and stuff like that. And it's pretty exciting to see this kind of format that we're seeing. We're seeing the Pro League, we're seeing the Challengers Cup, we're seeing regional wild cards, we're seeing the regional championships, and then the World Championship. So let's just talk about the entire format in general. What do you guys think of this? It's very elaborate, I guess you could say, but this very elaborate format.
I love it.
Wolfie, what do you think? You like it?
I like it.
Okay.
I like the whole format with the Pro League and everything. That's cool. I guess my only beef was with the way the 600K is done. I like everything else that's being done. I think everything else is phenomenal and really well done. I approve of it 100%.
Okay. So let's go ahead. We'll kind of take a look at how it's laid out. I'll go ahead and pop it up on screen here. You guys can go ahead and see here right in the middle. So we have the Pro League, and it has 6 teams per region that is going on there. The top 4 teams from the Pro League, and the Pro League, guys, is going to be going on during the week, which I think is awesome. What do you guys think about this content now? We're gonna start having a competitive match almost every night of the week, you can kind of think. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, it's dope because there's just more Smite to watch. MLB Star, who He's the one that posts all the dope post-game threads on Reddit.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude. He said to me the other day on Twitter, he's just like, dude, I get to watch Smite 6 days a week. I can't wait to have no time.
Yeah.
But realistically, I was talking to Hindu Man, actually.
Okay.
And we were talking about how, like, it lets you really watch what you want to watch.
Okay, I can see that.
Like, my buddy Scoobs, Smite Game Scoobs over here, he's a mod. He's like a Cloud9 super fanboy. He wants to watch Cloud9 and kind of just only wants to watch Cloud9.
Okay.
That's normal. So he's got to watch the entire damn tournament. Not all of Cloud9's games are streamed, and then 6 hours later he gets to watch their best-of-3 series in the finals.
Mhm.
That doesn't really behoove an individual fan to check that out. Now you can approach it just like the Yankees or the Knicks or the football team you like to watch. You just take a look at the schedule. You say, all right, C9 is going to be playing Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I'm excited. I'm dope. I can go out those nights and I can watch the games these nights. It's going to be a lot of fun. You don't have to watch every game. If you're a big nerd like me, I'm the guy that watches the Phoenix Suns versus the 76ers, the two horrible teams in the league. I'm going to watch every single damn Smite game. But not everybody wants to do that. And that's a large part of the problem that our weekly tournaments give you. When I tell my friends, hey, you guys want to check out Smite, you got to sit down for 7 hours.
Oh.
They're like, yo, I'll pass. And then a cool match that I want to check out isn't televised. That sucks. Now it can be like, yo, friends, it's Dignitas versus COG. I guarantee this is going to be a dope matchup. Come through Tuesday night, bring some chips, bring some soda. I'm down. You know what I mean? It allows you to just schedule and enjoy the content that you want to watch rather than just have a 7-hour Smite Fest, which doesn't really work for everybody. So I'm really hype about the scheduling of it all. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, so pretty much what will be going on, guys, is with the Smite Pro League kickoff, it's going to be 10 weeks. Well, I'm sorry, the 10-week overqualifier occurred from May 3rd to July 13th. Now what you're going to go ahead and see is it's going to be like a round-robin type of combination with these teams in the Pro League. And the really cool thing about it is, as F.58 talked about, it's going to be, you know, you're going to have content. And did they say it's going to be one match a night that they're going to have on Smite Game, or is there multiple per night?
Not too sure.
Okay. Well,
it's one best of 3.
Is it? Okay, it's one best of 3. So what do you think about that whole idea now, Wolfie?
Thursday, Friday. I'm perfectly fine with it. It's cool. I like it. It's better than the weekend tournament, especially for the pro players.
Yeah.
It allows them to have their weekends open, which is really important because we really don't have much time as is. We always put the week during it, and it's really hard. Like there's a lot of times where I haven't been able to go to weddings, go to family events.
I can see that.
Not those. And so it's nicer for us. It does kind of cut into scrim time.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like takes the place almost now to a degree.
Which is bad for a lot of teams, because a lot of teams aren't like, they're not neckbeard like me. They can't scrim at 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh,
it's
they got jobs.
I like this because, in a way, it's gonna start separating the pro players from the casual players who want to be pro.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to start dedicating your time to
the game. I mean, it's
playing.
gonna be like full dedication.
Now, do you think there's a positive or a negative? I missed that.
Yeah.
I think it's positive.
Okay.
Thank you. Me too.
It's about time to start taking it like serious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's no longer just a game. You know, it's
a career. Yeah. I can see that.
You can do your stuff on the weekends, which is good. I appreciate that. But it's time to start going. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to scrim at nighttime because you got to play the games. And you're going to want to watch those games because you want to know the enemy strategies.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good point.
So now scrim time is probably going to be between 12 and 5. Instead of from 7 to 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And that's going to wake up a lot of people. I don't know how many people are going to be able to handle it. To be completely honest.
Keep up with it, yeah. Yeah, no, I can see that. So right now, so I found the details here. The Pro League, guys, we're just talking about the Pro League now. We'll talk about the other ones. The Pro League is it's a 6-team round robin per region. Each team plays each other twice for a total of 30 matchups per region. It's 7 weeks. 2 teams from the Smite Pro League play in, and the games will be scheduled and broadcasted as follows. And as Woofy had kind of mentioned there briefly, for the US, it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and for Europe, it's Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. The weekday broadcast will be a single matchup, 2 games. Weekend days will have 3 matchups of 6 games total. So that's kind of the Pro League for sure. I'll go ahead and pop up the image here. So pretty much the top 4 teams that come out of the Pro Leagues for North America and for Europe will then go ahead and advance to the regional championships. But if you're a team in the Pro League and you lose, the bottom 2, you'll go ahead and move on to the regional wildcards tournament there, which is 4 teams per region. Now on the opposite side, though, we do have the Challenger Cup, as you guys can see on the right-hand side that was talked about quite a bit there. And the Challenger Cup, the top 2 teams from there will then advance to that regional in the middle. So that's where those 4 teams come together within the regional wild card. So you guys really, really like this setting that you guys talked about. What are your thoughts on how they're doing the Challenger Cup?
I think the Challenger Cup is good. I mean, for the most part, it does encourage more players to come in. But I think it is, how I put it, at this point in time, I don't think we're going to see much of a difference on NA. On E, you'll probably see somebody come up out of nowhere. I think NA is a lot more laxed.
Okay.
Because we don't take competitive games as seriously.
I can agree with you
for
there.
the most part.
Yeah.
And I think it's good on EU. It's going to be pretty straightforward on NA. That's just my opinion. I can't hear you.
After you're muted, bro.
I like the idea of the Challenger Cup because yes, you can. Nice try.
Now you can. Now we can.
I've run into a number of people.
What's he doing?
I've run into a number of people, all right, that are like, look, man, I would like to play in a cool team, but at the end of the day, I just don't want to get stomped by Dig.
Yeah.
And these players are slightly above average. Are they going to be on Smite Pro anytime soon? Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. But are they going to be like, celebrated Laz's players? Probably not. But will they join the Challenger Cup? Yes. Getting those scary professional teams away from a amateur-esque tournament and letting the best rise to the top is a fantastic way to handle it, and it'll also handle teams that don't really do well. So, like, not only does it encourage new players to get up there and start going, but it also encourages the pros to maintain a level that people want to watch. I mean, I always bring this up. Nobody watches the WNBA. Because nobody's good, because nobody gets paid. Mm-hmm. The women that get paid at the WNBA get paid so little that nobody really wants to do it. You're better off doing a better career unless you absolutely love basketball. And so nobody watches it. And because there's no, incentive for these women to get better, the WNBA just has less than just average play, and nobody really cares. And that stagnation is what hurts the league. And that's why this is a good thing for Smite, because it prevents stagnation. You can't just have a team content with complacency. If you're number 6, you're going to get booted by some noobs if you don't pick it up, bro.
Yeah,
and that's cool, because you can't just sit there and go, we're not going to make the land. Screw it. Let's go Ares jungle. I don't care. It maintains a level of respectability where the viewers can be guaranteed quality games because you can't throw because you'll be booted. I love it. I think it's fantastic, more so on the pro side, but I just love that it's a thing that there's a back and forth. I can come out of nowhere and get 4 people that live on my block and download Smite and be the next pro, and team, gonna use it, Denial Esports doesn't make it because they fail. You know, I think that's fantastic, and it guarantees a certain level, and it keeps expectations high, so I know when I tune into the SPL, I'm gonna get a good game.
Yeah,
I agree.
This is pretty much the giving, you know, you guys the opportunity, you know, those of you guys listening, and this pretty much goes out to the community. It gives you the opportunity to get into the tournament, just like Ep.58 had said, where you're not playing the Dignitases and you're not playing, you know, the top other teams like Cognitive and stuff like that. You know, some of the details on this specifically is pretty much it's several weeks. We'll go through it. Teams gain points determined by their placement in the tournaments. It's $1,000 prize in each region per week. So it's just kind of like the typical weeklies that you see going on now. But the big line in here for everybody to remember is teams that are in the Smite Pro League are barred from entry. So you're not going to see any of them in this. So those of you guys that, you know, are used to getting in the weeklies, like you get through round 1, you sometimes get through round 2, but then you never make it on to round 3 because you always hit some of these top teams. That's not going to be the case here. You know, you will have an opportunity to flourish and do much, much better. What will happen is at the end, it's a 7-week season. And if you're kind of like Wolfie had talked about, like you're going to see, you know, who is going to be fully committed because it's 7 weeks long and you get points and your placement depending on, you know, if you're there or not. If you can make 1 or 2 tournaments over the whole 7 weeks, you're not making it. But if your team's going to put the dedication forward, you might have a chance. And it's 7 weeks long. And then what happens is it funnels right into the graphic here that I was showing you guys. The top 2 teams from the Challenger Cup over the 7 weeks funnel into the regional wildcard tournament there. So you have 4 teams going to the regional wildcard. And so go ahead, go for it, Wolfie. What do you got?
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
For the people
Only
who are
one
scared,
thing. Only one thing.
For the people that are scared
Yeah.
of playing against top teams and scared of getting beat, man the hell up.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's what I've been saying every week.
Like, I'm gonna, and this isn't to like make it like a Cinderella story or anything like that.
Yeah.
I started playing fighting games before I got into MOBAs and everything.
Okay.
I started playing fighting games and I was complete butt.
Still is?
What? I lived in New York City, where some of arguably the best fighting game players in the world lived.
Big deal.
And I would go to these casuals, and I would play in Chinatown Fair, and I would play against the best players in the world, and I would play for 50 games straight, getting bodied. I mean, wrecked. Like, perfected for like 30 games straight. But you know what? That one time I would take a game with Justin Wong, greatest feeling of my life. and that's how you get better. Get bodied. Yeah. Learn to play. You get beat by Dignitas 6 weeks in a row, learn something from it. Come back and be better. End of story. Stop being scared.
Yeah, I think, I mean, in all honesty, I remember the other day when Hi-Rez had, they made, this announcement was made on Wednesday, guys. The 600K announcement came earlier on in the day, but then they had that big stream going on. And somebody at the very end had asked Dignitas a question like, hey, if a team is starting out and wants to play and scrimmage against some of these top teams, you know, is it possible? And I think that's awesome that a person would ask that type of question. Like, you should want to play the best.
Yeah.
Like, that is where you're going to learn the most. And yes, you might get stomped, but then the next time you're going to go, okay, we know that they do this. Let's make sure we counter it with this or something like that. Or let's make sure we do this. I mean, that's the only way to really do it, to be honest with you. So I can agree with you, Wolfie. I
know for a fact NA teams be thirsty to scrim. Dig doesn't get many scrims. We were trying to get scrims almost every day as 5 Angry Men, and we scrimmed 2 days.
Yeah.
You can contact any of these high-level teams, and they will probably scrim you because they have no one else to play against. Like, especially before 7 o'clock. If you find all 5 of them online before 7, they will probably scrim you. Believe it or not. Believe it or not.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a whole other bottle of worms I'm gonna open right now.
Go ahead.
But there was a tournament in RTX.
Okay.
Woo! Yes.
Do we want to talk about this now? It's on the list, but do we want to talk about it now?
Well, what I was going to say ties into that sort of stuff is There was a tournament at RTX where a lot of people complained that Dignitas were like ringers. They kind of came,
Yeah.
The guys in Critosaurus who got stomped were glad they got stomped. This team is composed of Nanton and they're professional players. They're on the cusp of being those top NA teams. They're not there yet, but they certainly have the capacity in them to do it. And it felt like when somebody gets jokingly made fun of and everyone at the party gets mad, but the guy that's getting made fun of is sitting there like, dude, it was funny. Why don't you shut up? That's what went down. Nanton and friends were like, yo, the setup is a different story. Lag, garbage computers, etc.
Did you see Sir Scoots' message, his Twitter message? Please tell me you did.
I'm all about the CSC. Trust me.
Yes.
I saw all of the stuff. That I'm not touching that with a 12-foot pole right now. All I'm saying is that the members of Critosaurus were happy to play against Dignitas because they don't get that type of practice.
Yeah.
They just don't. You can't buy the type
excellent.
of experience you get from playing a hardcore professional team. You can't just, you can't play your friends in the pre-made 5-man queue and get the same experience you're going to get from losing to Wolfie and his team.
Yeah.
You're not going to get the same experience from Laz's stomping you. It's just not going to happen. And you never get better until you lose. You can't get better if you win every game. It just doesn't happen. So be excited to play against those teams. Be like Critosaurus. Everybody else in the world got mad, except for the team that was actually involved. Because, and this is something I've been saying for a while, I had Nanton on my show, Ban Zeus. They have the right mentality. They're not the best team in the world, but they can be very good because they know what it takes to win, and they're happy about it. They're happy to lose to a team that's better than them because they can watch the VOD and see what they did wrong, see why Laz's went 19-0. How did that happen? I don't know. Let's watch the VOD and fix it. If you never play Laz's and you never know what he's going to do, then you can never get that good. So embrace it, be happy, and it's cool that we have the Challenger Cup out, but when it comes that your team is good enough to go play the pros, don't go high. Embrace it.
Yeah. Sticking on that topic for specifically, then we'll come back to RTX and come back to Iron Gaming there a little bit. I mean that's a direct reflection though. Like it's kind of interesting that comes up. Like this whole debacle occurs the same time that as Wolf, we're talking about it here in the Challenger Cup and everything coming out because it gives you an opportunity, yes, in the Challenger Cup to play people of like-minded, skill set and stuff like that without the pros. But when you're going to regionals for the regional wildcard and stuff like that, you're going to hit those pros again. So it's really good that they're at, we saw it right here where it was, Dignitas versus some of these teams without a doubt. Any last comments on that, Wolfie, before we continue on and then we'll dive into it?
Natan's in chat. Somebody's going to blow up.
I mean, we will talk about RTX and Iron Gaming a little bit more, guys. Just after the esports section.
I like all the stuff they're doing.
Yeah.
This whole thing is cool.
Yeah.
The Challenger Cup is cool. The whole Pro League is cool. Stop being scared.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't be scared. Like get better. That's legit it.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. Don't be like. It's cool that this stuff is happening because it's helping the pro teams do what they gotta do.
Yeah.
But I don't want the lower teams to get complacent because all they're doing is playing against each other.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good point.
That's all I don't want. I want more teams to come out, and I again love the whole situation, but this whole complaint about it's an amateur tournament. What the hell is an amateur tournament? A tournament is a tournament. There's no amateur tournament. But that's fine. I think it's great that they're trying to encourage other people, and I think it's great that they're helping out the pro players. So it's perfectly cool with everything.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Critosaurus getting second place.
With the Challenger Cup, I wouldn't be okay with it, but I'm okay that it exists because there's an SPL.
Yes,
yeah,
I completely agree. It works now. It works now because it pretty much allows those players to be content with the pros being in their own isolated tournament, but then eventually it's going to funnel down though, and eventually you're going to have to play those people. So I agree with you. I mean, it works for the moment, but like going back a few weeks back when like we first talked about like an amateur league starting up, and you made the same argument. You're like, I understand it, but at the same time I don't like it, is what you had said, because you like the merging of all esports is in one spot.
Yeah, because it it waters down the scene by having too many different leagues and tournaments and game days, etc. And excluding people with no real hard decisions, and really how do you exclude, what do you call a professional in a world where we're not quite at the salary mark? Where do you make that cutoff? Is Non-Tom's team a professional? They beat Snipe. They went to the finals. Are they not allowed in your amateur team? The difference between them and Dignitas is noticeable, but they beat Snipe. So let's talk about that. You know what I'm saying? So with that whole, if you just amateurs. Amateurs feel bad.
Yeah.
Like when we were talking about Smite eSports and we, not derogatorily, said the word casual. People that spend 99% of their time in arena got mad that they were being talked down on being called casual. Well, how are the amateur teams going to feel if you call them amateurs? You're just going to hurt their feelings. There's a whole lot of stuff involved. But when the pros have their own league, that it's the top level, they're all of a sudden not involved. There's all of a sudden an understandable, there's a metric we can consider professionals. They're in the professional league. They're not allowed to do anything else. Guess what the amateur league does? It gets you in the pro league. It all makes sense. I love it.
I like how your voice went from like here to like this nice soft calming. It was awesome. So continuing on, we will hit on RTX. Chat is like all interested in hearing our comments on that stuff like that, so we'll definitely comment on it a little bit more. But breaking it down, so everything funnels down into, as you guys can see up on screen right now, everything funnels down into your regional wild card. Now this is, I was very surprised about this announcement. There will be 2 LAN events before the World Championship, and that was news to me. I did not know that. I don't have any insight with Hi-Rez. I did not know that. I knew there would be a regional event, but I didn't know, hey, there would be something before that. And so it looks like here, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, this is the $50,000 LAN event, correct? That'll be happening at the Cobb Energy Performing Arts Complex, but in the, not the huge room, but the
it's
other one.
Be the small one.
Yeah, the Sterling Ballroom. So... think about it, guys. You are a team that you and a few other guys get together. You play in the Challengers Cup. You're in the top 2 in the Challengers Cup. You don't play any, and I'm going to put quotes around it, your pro teams, and then you make it to this regional wildcard event. You have a chance for there's a $50,000 prize pool, which will be held right there in Atlanta, which I think is awesome. Moving on from there, then, if you guys take a look, well, if you make it there, you win there. You then drop down to the regional championship, which has the 4 teams come from the pro league and funnel down into that regional championship. And that is another one for NA. I'm just talking NA right now. This is another one that is actually going to be held in November at that exact same location, which I'm so thrilled about. In EU, it's the exact same format, guys. Direct reflection, except it's not held in North America in Atlanta. It's within, my understanding, is the ESL studio. Which is that
yes.
Germany? Germany, yeah.
Yes, it's Cologne. Shout out to my buddy Sean, who works over at ESL.
That's awesome.
It's really cool stuff. The ESL Studios is beautiful.
Is it
ESL puts on a lot of different things. ESL puts on huge events. This obviously isn't going to be gigantic, but the studios are. What I mean by that is they are established. They make money. They're not just a random TO that they're. ESL Studios Cologne isn't like a VFW with a couple of folding chairs.
It's their job to host esports events, pretty much.
It's a beautiful, and everyone that goes needs to give Hindu Man a high five from me, because there's no way in hell I'm going to Germany.
And make sure you guys bring him some new bow ties too. That would be awesome. Get that man some real bow tie. So that all trickles down. So you have your regional wild card, guys. You have your regional event, which will be even larger, and then finally we have the World Championship, which will be in January. So it's going to be pretty ridiculous. I mean, taking a look, guys, this is all between now and January. We have 4 LAN events with constant content, and as kind of Wolfie had talked about there, like we're seeing like esports every night of the week almost now, which will be on Smite Game, which is amazing, without a doubt. So it's pretty sick. Pretty happy about that for sure. Yeah, I mean, Hi-Rez did say, those of you guys not familiar, they'll be putting forth the 600K, and then there will be crowdsourcing. So there's potential for this to be seven figures at like $1 million.
Potential?
There's potential. Well, you
real.
know, I don't want to be like, oh, it's gonna be 8 figures. Just watch. We got Dota, Dota style coming on. But I think $1 million is within reach, without a doubt. And they had said that there will be the same situation where you will have, and I think they said multiple skins that will be available and other methods for crowdsourcing. So
I'm so excited.
you're like a little schoolgirl.
I can't wait to buy more skins that I'll never use. I'm so excited.
Hey, but it
love
supports
stuff like
esports. It supports esports.
I've literally played Poseidon once since buying Poseidon, and I used the Earthshaker skin. But I bought it the day it came out because go esports. I love that sort of stuff.
So, all said and done, prize pool potential for $1 million. The World Championship. Wolfie, you had kind of said you were kind of upset that we're not seeing more NA and EU teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's a really sore spot for me because it's like I feel like even though I'm not on a team right now, I feel like teams have put so much into this. Like if I was on a team right now, I'd probably feel really sour about it.
Okay.
I put I've poured my life for the past 2 years into this game.
Yeah.
Right? And then just be like, well, you can't go because you're not in the top 2 teams.
Yeah.
Like, does that mean that the third and fourth team can't randomly take a game? Like, technically on Snipe, we almost eliminated COG from 200K.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and to be fair, I don't think the China teams or the Latin American teams will be on the same caliber as the NA or EU teams, as even the third or fourth seed. So I feel like.
Do you feel like the World Championship matches are not going to be as close as what we're hoping for?
Yeah. And I think that more EU teams deserve to be there than the NA teams do. But I kind of feel like those extra spots are just being. I don't want to say cheated because like Hi-Rez is doing a lot for us and that's cool and everything. But I also don't think it's fair for the amount of time that we've put into the game.
Well, I mean, there's got to be a cutoff somewhere. So, and I agree with you in principle, but at the same time, there's got to be a cutoff somewhere. Would 3 teams be enough?
I think it should be the same as it was 200K. 4 from NA, 4 from EU, and then you could bring the 4 from split between Latin America and China because they physically have not had enough time to have more teams.
Right. I agree with that.
They haven't had enough time to have more. You can have 2 top teams from there come out because they haven't had the game for as long, and that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But we've been playing for 2 years now, going on 3, and we're cut off at 2 teams per when obviously more teams deserve to be there.
Yeah. Well, I guess my question is, I'm just going to throw it out there in putting some of the format aside that we just kind of went over. In your situation, would you rather see 4 teams from NA, 4 teams from EU, 2 teams from, from over in China, and then 1 team from Brazil, 1 team from Latin America? So it'd be your 12 teams total?
Yeah.
What do you think about 12 teams at the World Championship compared to your, 8?
Yep.
Well, I don't work for Hi-Rez, and even though I did, they shouldn't or wouldn't let me anywhere near the numbers and the books, because that's not my world. But I imagine that more teams means more time, means bigger venues. It means a lot. So there's a lot of interesting things that come into play there. We do have a large venue, so there's that. Like I said, it's really just a numbers game. Where's the cutoff for 3 teams will cost X amount of dollars, 4 teams cost Y amount of dollars, in between X and Y's to expect. I don't know anything about the logistics.
Yeah.
But as far as the principle of the matter, and this is assuming that everybody is on the same level, which they're not, and that's unfortunate. As we go forward, it's important to know that right now is the beginning of something for the future. So right now, this tournament, China and Latin America might be lagging behind North America, etc. But you have to set the precedent. You can't just 2 years down the line go, China's good enough, let's invite them. If you're going to have a league that funnels into a LAN, and if this is something that's going to repeat yearly, you have to set the precedent. So you have to invite these teams despite the fact that they might not be as competitive.
Yeah.
Because in the future they will be. It's just logistics. If you do it any other way, it'll seem fishy, and it'll just be really whack. Because all of a sudden you're going to invite these Brazilian teams in. We didn't see them before. Why are they coming in now? So you set the precedent now, and it works out. And then what happens is, so you have to set the limit somewhere. And the fact of the matter is, and I'm not diminishing the work that you and other players have done, Wolfie, the fact of the matter is there has to be a cutoff at some point, and somebody's going to be mad. Last year, the top 4 teams from each region was great because there was only 4 competitive teams in each region. Let's be real. There was a number 5 seed, sure, but ain't nobody remember them. It was all of the 4 major teams from NA and EU. Those were the big names.
Yeah.
They were the only sponsored teams. The only unsponsored team was Smite, and they played better than some of the sponsored teams. Those were the only people that took Smite professionally seriously. So nobody was upset. With this setup, and as Smite grows, people are going to have to be upset. And for what it's worth, old Dr. Scrooge Dot over here, that's a good thing, because when you're pissed you don't make it, you try harder and you come back better next year. Again, eliminating the complacency is something that's important for a sport to grow. If everybody just sucks, I don't want to watch. I only want to watch the best of the best of the best. Sir! So when you come through, and yeah, it sucks. Dick and Cog are already going to do it. That sucks. I'm sorry that lots of professional players have sunk their time and energy into it, and they're going to get left out.
Yeah.
But there has to be a cutoff, and as Smite grows and we get more competitive and more teams start to play, more and more people are going to be upset. Sure, let's expand it to 4 teams. 2 years down the line, now each region has 8 competitive teams. 4 teams that play just as much as you don't get in. They're sad. Should we expand it to 8? Absolutely not. So I don't mean to diminish what you've done and what other players have done, Wolfie, but somebody has to be upset, and it makes the sport better.
Well, yeah, I mean,
But I can counter that by just saying, again, we're trying to look for the best competitive games possible. And again, I don't think the other teams are the same thing. I think that, in my opinion, 4 teams are going to feel lackluster at the world event, which is bad.
I
For
do
a
agree with that.
competitive mindset,
Yeah.
it is not fair for the teams that are better than teams going.
well, I think
That's my opinion.
yeah, and I can see both your arguments, like looking at both of your sides on it for sure. But I will have to lean a little bit towards F.dot side, where the investment now and bringing in these other regions in now, which are not as skilled, will pay off like next year or the year after, when all of a sudden we have like 4 teams that all of a sudden China is bringing along or whatever. So where the tournament's going to be larger, where like if we go ahead and bounce ahead and look like a year down the road, the World Championship in the next year could be 12 teams, because then all of a sudden, they have that opportunity to open up that door. In all honesty, I don't know how many competitive teams China's actually going to have available by January, or Latin America or Brazil. Like, I really don't know where it's going to be at. So, but I could also see like, right now it's like a short term, like it's a little bit of an investment now, and yeah, the competition might not be as good this year, but then they're kind of looking towards down the road. Like, nothing is just like a little short term investment. It's always mid and long term. So I can understand it though on Wolfie's side though, because I understand where you're like, hey, we have 10 teams that are better than the Chinese and the Latin American teams. Why aren't they there? Well, it's because we don't want to see another NA versus EU launch tournament. We don't want to see
an emotional investment.
Yeah. Yep.
But you would rather watch a stomp?
No.
We might have to this year.
Right.
You might have to this
You're
year.
totally right.
I just don't. I don't agree with it. I don't know. There's no. I don't see any way that how it's an investment over having
Do you think
teams that deserve to be there more than the other teams. I just don't see that. If you're not better than, I would rather see a tournament between the China and the NA bottom teams, and the best between those get. If the China teams beat, let's put it for the top 4 right now. If both the China teams beat Snipe and Cognitive Red, then yes, they probably deserve to be there more. But if Snipe and Cognitive Red beat the China teams, I don't see why the China team deserve to be there more than the NA.
So you want like an international kind of ahead of time beforehand.
I am all for competition, I am all for the best teams that deserve to be there to be there. If we are doing something and you are doing the world championship and you're sacrificing competition for marketing, I don't agree. I am 100% for competition over everything
I
else.
agree with you on this point.
And I don't feel it is fair for the other teams that are probably better than the Latin American teams and the China teams that can't go because of them. And that is, I'm happy for them that they are coming. But I feel bad for the teams that have done all that hard effort and work that deserve to go but aren't going, and it is the actual quality of games are going to suffer for it.
I don't disagree with you. I think you're 100% right. 2 years from now, do you think it's going to be the same?
2 years from now, the China teams might be better than the NA teams, and I will agree that the NA teams do not deserve to go. I will agree completely. If they are better than us, then they should have our spots. 100%. 100. This is not me being an NA fanboy or an EU fanboy. At the moment, you're going to see a better game by having more EU teams or more NA teams than you will having it.
I'd be eager to see
at the moment, and I believe the China teams deserve to go too. But I don't think you should cut off the other teams purely to have 2 extra China teams and 2 Latin American teams for equality. I am not for the nobody left behind in school. See, I am not for that. I'm against that.
I mean, we see a lot of regional sports and esports do this sort of thing.
International qualifier.
Yeah, where international they're it's less. The Smite World Championships are less the best in the world, and more the best for each region. Competing for their own region. So you're 100% right in the fact that the bottom NA teams might be better than the South American teams and the Chinese teams that haven't been able to play Smite for as long.
Yeah.
But it's not about who it's. Unfortunately, there's a conflict of interest. The World Championship itself, the winner of the 600K plus, is about who's the best Smite team at that event. But going to that event is more who's the best from this region, who's the best from that region, who's the best from this region, who's the best from that region. Y'all fight, and then at the end, one region can be happy. Like shouts to the World Cup. It's exactly how that stuff works. So right now, I definitely agree with you. I think it's a sin that Cognitive Red might not go. I think it's kind of weak, especially considering how our competition stands right now, where Dig and Cog are going, period.
Yeah.
And Cloud9 and TSM are going, period. Because the player pool isn't huge, and we have concentrated competition. We have concentrated talent. And so it totally alienates a lot of people. And you're totally right. And I agree with you. But you got to think towards the future. And in the future, maybe they open it up to more teams. As I said, I'm assuming, I don't have information, I'm assuming it's a money thing. You can't just have 8 million teams. I get that. And also that, I tried to argue the competition aspect of it. But it's about the future. This year might suck. It's not the greatest thing in the world that quality teams are getting left off the bill. But next year, who knows?
Yeah.
China and Latin America would have more time.
2 things to point out, Wolfie, before I throw it to you. First off, I didn't see where you were coming from at first with having like an international qualifier, but after I do see it, I like the idea. I like the format. I think that would be pretty cool. But something to keep in mind, which I wonder if this could happen or will happen. Risty UK actually posted it in chat and said where in StarCraft 2, when they apply something like the current format, you could actually see an NA team go and play on Korean servers on the tournaments and qualify that route. You know what I mean? I don't see anything in the rules that says you must live within that region.
An NA team can play on a Latin American server.
Qualify for it. And that kind of, having an international qualifier kind of gets rid of that and corrects that problem. But with the way it sits now, we could have NA and EU teams being like, wow, we're not going to beat XYZ team. We know it's not going to happen. So let's go this route and play the Koreans, who haven't had the game for a year and a half like we have, and let's just go stomp that tournament, possibly, hypothetical, and be able to come in that route. I'd be interested to see if that happens. So, Wolfie, what were you saying? Please continue.
All I'm saying, and I'll say this again, do you really think it would discourage the China teams to not play competitively if they couldn't make it into this tournament because they weren't better than the other NA teams? I think it's the complete opposite. I think the fact that
I see your reasoning.
I think especially in the China teams, especially on the EU side, especially if they found out that they were not good enough, they were not better than the NA teams, and had this that they could not qualify over them, they would try harder next time. I don't think it would discourage them. I think it would encourage them to play even harder, because my whole problem is that they're not as good as us at the moment. If they were better than us, I completely agree. But they're not as good as us, and I am 100% will always be against nobody left behind. If they're not better than us, they shouldn't take our spots. That's how I feel.
See, the problem is, unfortunately, there's always going to be a situation like that. I mean, you take a look at, I hate to be that guy, but I always like to look at the stuff that's already established.
Yeah.
It happens in League. Happens all the time in League.
Yeah,
it happens in the NBA.
Had a lot of time together, and it didn't happen like this in League of Legends when it first came out. They not only were the teams allowed to play on the other servers to qualify on the other servers, just like what Octane said, but they had the game for a longer time before they were allowed to go into like the championships.
Okay.
They didn't just get the game. China just got the game. And I'm just being honest, it's not the same level of competition. It really isn't.
We can't speak about Latin American play because we haven't seen it.
Yeah, let's
Maybe
see
they're
it.
the best.
That is true.
Who knows? We can talk about Chinese play. China got stopped by NA.
Yeah.
There are actually
China
Latin
got stopped by
American
NA.
players in the NA servers that play in the tournaments to this day. APC was actually saying that there are actually a good number of Brazilian players and Latin American players from the IPs that play in the NA servers.
Yes.
And I'm completely for that. But are they better than the top 4 teams at the moment?
Who knows? We don't know. We can say it all day about
let them
China
play again.
because we literally watched Zapman poop on Wii. We watched it happen.
Then let us play against them.
Yeah.
Let us play against them. Let us organize. Let us play against them. Let us play against them.
And the reason we don't play against Europe
Let us
because
earn
ping
our
differential.
spots.
Yeah.
Let us earn our spots.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it.
If y'all wanna, here's the deal, and I'm gonna offer you an offer that I can't actually offer you, but I'm gonna give it to you because I hope that my friends at Hi-Rez would hook it up. If y'all wanna pay for your own plane tickets and your own hotels to go meet up in the middle of the ocean and play LAN tournaments against China, go ahead. But nobody's gonna do it. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So you can't physically you can't practically make that happen. It's impossible to practically make that happen. That's my beef. Because playing on LAN, LOL, I hog 30 seconds in advance and still don't make it. You're in China. You're literally in China. Like, it's not going to work. So practically, how do you pull that off? You unfortunately don't.
Yeah.
And like that, I agree with you. It totally sucks that Cog Red and Snipe are going to be left in the dust, and the Chinese team is, as of when we saw Dig play them, worse than them. I agree, and I think it sucks. But you can't do anything about it, just like you can't do anything about red light cameras. It's just going to get you. It's just going to get you.
Wow, he throws that. All right. So, any last comments on that? I mean, I know we can kind of talk about that one topic for hours, but any last comments about Smite World Championship, prize pools, tournament formats, the path, anything like that?
I just think it's a great format for the future, despite the fact that right now it seems kind of janky. I would
agree.
personally like to see expanded to 3. 4 is a lot of teams. I'd like to see 3 from NA, 3 from EU, and whatever the hell else from across the world, I would be down with that. I think that would be exciting, but money, of course, could be a limiting factor. I don't know if it is. I'm not reading the Hi-Rez books.
Yeah.
It could be a limiting factor, and in the future, maybe we'll see an expansion. But I am thinking for the future. And yeah, right now the Chinese teams might get stomped, but they might not next year. And if they can become, and that's what I'm thinking about. In a perfect world where teleportation exists, I want Wolfie's tournament. I don't want to watch Garbo team. There's a reason that people show up late to concerts, because nobody wants to see Joey and the Sunshine Rats play garbage music. They showed up to see Iggy Azalea scream fancy. That's what they want to see. Nobody cares about the opening acts. And right now the Chinese teams are opening acts.
Okay.
That sucks. It's definitely a thing. But in the future, that could be and should be different. And that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about the future. Everybody's just got to hold it and suck it, and that sucks. It totally does. But let's be real here. The bottom teams probably weren't going to win anyway.
Wolfie, over to you. Last comments?
I completely agree. They probably wouldn't have won anyway. But there's a bigger chance to see them beat Digger Kong.
Oh, man. All right. Outside of that, I will have to agree. Right now it kind of sucks, but I'm eager to see, as Wolfie and F. both went ahead and mentioned, some type of international qualifier in upcoming years. Right now, I understand the way it works out. So, but either way, we're excited about the new format. There's a lot of esports content coming to the Smite scene, and I think it'll be awesome. I think it's going to bring on some higher viewer numbers during the week, which is going to be great. And I think it's going to help to expand the scene as well, so that'll be great. Moving on here, before we get into our Week 9 qualifiers for NA and EU and kind of our current standings and where everyone's at before we go to Week 10, we did have this announced. This is why Smite Central announced their Smite Fantasy Esports page, where you can pretty much go on their website, you can create leagues, you can draft players, and you can compete for prizes, cash, hardware, other stuff like that. What do you think about this, Wolfie, as a player? People being able to go ahead and create almost a fantasy league based around players and teams.
Again, some of it I'm probably not going to do just because it just doesn't really affect me. But
Sure,
I think it's cool for people like F. that love it. I know F. loves it.
I'm hyped.
He just can't wait. I guess it's sort of. I'd probably be more cool with it, but since I actually do play competitively, it's like. These are all my friends.
I mean, dude, I mean, they're my friends too. I cast for you dudes. Like,
it's just kind of awkward for me.
Well, let's be real. Wolfie.
Go ahead.
Would you be your first pick?
Hell yeah, I'm cocky. Don't even try that one.
You wouldn't be my first pick?
Oh,
I'm okay
man.
with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
Who would your second pick be? I need to call you out.
Yeah, I like it.
My second pick? I'd probably grab Jeff.
Yeah. I'm eager to see how they base these numbers and how they base their calculations and stuff like that. I think it'll be pretty cool.
If I were to build a team, like I would build like a full-on aggro team, dude. Like I would have like me, Jeff, Lasses, Zap on the same team. Like that'd be like a scary team, dude. Imagine like that aggressive, manly team that just rushes you down. That'd be obnoxious.
Yeah. I think something like this is great because it starts to connect. It starts to take your viewers where their main, outlet and connection with the scene is going ahead and in Smite game and watching the tournaments, and their direct connection is through the casters and those live events, that are only on Saturdays and Sundays. Moving forward, that's going to change a little bit, but now there's another way for them to stay connected, with those, to stay connected with the stats. To get to know these players and these teams a little bit more as well. It's something F. had talked about before. We're like, hey, if you're a fanboy of one team and one team only, and you want to go ahead and support that team, you have to go ahead and watch 7 hours of that content. Well, now like you kind of have a little bit of like your niche. Like, hey, you're at work, and oh, it's like Monday afternoon. You're like, okay, I got to get my picks in for the fantasy this week, type of deal. It starts to add that in quite a bit. So I'm really thrilled about it. It does very much match up with kind of your traditional sports atmosphere with the fantasy type of stuff. But I'm okay with that. I think it is I think it's the next step for us, and I'm kind of really happy for Smite Central to see them taking the step to add this first.
Yeah, there's a lot of immersion. Smite eSports.com has also come out with something. A lot of the pro players have backed that one.
Yeah.
So you have two options, which, I mean, just like traditional sports, ESPN or Yahoo, bro.
Yeah.
So you got Smite eSports.com in addition to the Smite Central League, and you got two different ones, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But one of the cool things with fantasy overall is it increases viewer retention. And it increases. It's just good for the business of Smite, essentially, because basically what happens is you get so involved with parts of the game that you might not have originally been into. I've played fantasy everything at one point or another. I generally just stick with basketball these days because smaller rosters left to think about. But playing fantasy baseball specifically. Everybody knows if you have anything to do with baseball, you know the huge name players, Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, etc. But, do you really know Grady Sizemore? No. But if you want to have a really dope team, then you have to know about the third-string third baseman that comes up and does nothing but has a fantastic batting average. So you're going to go ahead and draft him. That's a cool way to make you pay attention more to the sport almost on accident.
Yeah.
And it could do the same thing for Smite in the sense that I'm gonna throw Scoobs around like I always do. You grab Smite Game Scoobs and he knows everything about Cloud9. He knows what they eat for breakfast and when they brush their teeth. He wants to marry Young Bae. Good for him. That's a thing. But what does he know about TSM? Scratch that. What does he know about? Let me pull up the brackets real quick. What does he know about the dudes that compete in the semifinals that do fantastic? Well, it's going to be limited to the SPL, so But the lower, what I'm saying is the lower ranked teams have players that perform very well.
Yeah.
Shouts to Jeff Hinla on Denial Esports. Shouts to Nanton on Critosaurus. These are the type of players that you're going to be interested in because they bring a specific stat that will round out your fantasy team, and it forces you to accidentally learn more about the sport. And that'll get fans to be more enveloped in the Smite scene, and it'll just increase retention and viewership because now people are watching for more than one reason. Not only is Scoobs rooting for Cloud9 and watching the Cloud9 games, but he's also going to turn into that team solo mid game because he's got Zimstar on his team. So it's cool, and it's just going to increase viewership. I'm really excited. Yeah,
no, I think it for sure. Once again, if you guys want to check that out, that's over on SmiteCentral.com. I'll put the link in chat. Make sure you check it out. And, a few weeks down the road, we'll go ahead and kind of take a look at it a little bit more once we actually get a chance to take a look a little bit more at it. We have seen there were some screenshots and stuff like that, and it looked really, really nice, to be honest with you. So we'll have to see once we get a chance to sign up and start to make some picks moving forward. So let's go ahead and jump into the results from this past weekend. Yesterday and today's North American and EU qualifying events. And I'll pass it over to F.Dot to take it over from here.
Sword. What am I taking over?
I hate you. How do I
deal with this? I was talking to my boy Nanton because
Nanton, why you gotta distract my man here?
I kind of just put him on blast. So,
NA and EU qualifiers. Let's go over the results.
Oh my! I wasn't around for these.
Okay.
I didn't watch this weekend.
Okay. So does that?
He was casting, dude.
I casted the tournament.
I love the straight face too. By the way, I wasn't around.
I'm good at what I do.
I'm good at what I do. I love the hair, by the way. The hair helps out too, and the way you're roaming your camera.
But no, I like I said earlier, I had the pleasure of casting North America with Brandon, who's one of my favorite people to ever cast with, and I had the pleasure of casting Europe with Hindu Man. This is my first cast with Hindu Man, and it went rather swimmingly until I started fainting from heat stroke at the end. I caught a lot of garbage for I called them devotion gloves. I was just, dude, it got 110 in here. Leave me alone. But yeah. So as far as the results go, Cognitive won in spectacular fashion, and wow, we just had really exciting. We just had really exciting matchups. So we'll cover the finals. You know, generally, Cog and Snipe went to the finals, right? And 5 Angry Men, I don't know, they had some garbage jungler cover for them. It was really bad.
Awesome call out. I love it.
So Wolfie, our valued guest here, covered in 5 Angry Men. It was really interesting. I called it a while ago that Wolfie could see some success on 5 Angry Men, and they did win. They came out in third. They wound up beating Cog Red in the consolation match, the third place match. I don't like saying losers match. That just sounds weak. Yeah. So in the third place match, they wound up winning. They took home the bronze. And so 5 AM have a different. They're used to playing with DJ Pernicus, and I always talk about how Pernicus plays a different style of jungle in the sense that sort of plays jungle like solo lane, kind of just chills, and then later he's chalk. That's what he does. Wolfie, on the other hand, homie just kills you over and over and over again. And it worked because killing people works. But I don't think the mentality was all there. You know, it's a brand new player with an opposite playstyle from what they're used to. And that's why we didn't see 5 AM take home the gold. I think grabbing bronze with a player, you know, like Wolfie was fantastic. And, you know, after I'm done haranguing about NA, I want to hear about your experiences on that, because from the outside looking in, it was very obvious that y'all didn't exactly work together as a cohesive unit, but y'all were just good enough at the game that it kind of worked out, you know. So I was excited to watch that. But Cog versus Snipe finals. It's really not that long. It was just really sweet. Snipe won game 1, except for the fact that they lost. All right.
I saw that game.
Basically, Snipe went for like 40 minutes and we're winning forever. And then Barracuda happened. Like
who?
It's not only Barra.
Yeah, it's never not only Barra. It's a team effort.
I hate the MVP slot. I hate it more than anything I've ever seen.
Well, I mean,
I hate it because you have players who don't get the credit they should.
100%. That will always happen. It doesn't matter if you're playing Smite, baseball, or Uno. Somebody's gonna be left out.
Gotta bring up Uno, don't you? Gotta bring up Uno.
Barracuda is phenomenal. But he would not be the player he is without the umbilical cord we call Jeff Hindler.
Yep.
Of course, Jeff Hindler wouldn't be the player he is without the damage coming in from Barracuda.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And I agree, and I want to give I didn't respect this enough. I did not respect this enough until I played with them for the short amount of time, but I did play with them when I was subbing for solo, when I was subbing for jungle for those 2 weeks. They MOC, and I didn't know. I always said that MOC just has like an overall kit that he's just good in. MOC is the best cleanup mage in the business. He is the best janitor in the business. Like I picture him.
They call him the cleaner.
The cleaner. Dude, because we were in games, right? And everything would go bad, and he would just come in and clean up 4 kills. Like, where the hell did you do that damage from? And we're just wondering where that. It's like, you just look at MOC in those fights. He just doesn't get the credit he deserves. He doesn't look like he's doing it, but he does it, and it's. And Andy's just Andy, and then Omega's Omega. We know them already. They got all the credit they need.
Andy is amazing.
And Andy's a beast. Andy's a beast. And again, anyone will look like a beast playing with any 4 people on that team.
Okay.
When you have Jeff Hindler constantly in your ear, just going, I'm looking for the stun, got the stun, go ahead and go at him, looking for the knockup, didn't get it, stay back. Of course, everyone is going to look damn good. But at the end of the day, MVP is...
I know.
There's a reason it doesn't have anything to do with seed points.
Correct.
Yeah, correct. I agree. Yeah. I agree.
You know, it's fun. And when Barracuda winds up like 8,000,001, you know, all I'm saying is I'm sure Jeff isn't going home crying himself to sleep. Because the thing is, as a support,
he did his job.
To our original conversation, as a support, when your hunter and I don't know if you've played support, but when your hunter goes in post-game lobby and he's like, look at my player damage, look at my slash line, I'm the best, you kind of just sit back and go,
Yeah, right. You didn't die. You didn't die at all. You went 12-0, or as last says, you're 19-0. There's a reason your support did his job.
Yeah, you didn't die. You know how many taunts I cast?
Yeah, you're right. You know how many times?
And that's why you see a lot of the supports.
They're like the
The
humble
reason
boy.
Zapman
the humble
plays
boy.
Hunter and not support.
Oh, he couldn't
Yeah.
play support. He couldn't
You
play
look at
support.
Shadow Q. Well, I think Zap could play it if he got.
You
done
know
with it.
what I
But you look
mean.
at Zap,
You
you
know
look
what
at
I
you look
mean.
No,
at
he
Jeff.
steals kills. He steals kills. He's like me.
Like
You
Pain?
see me-
Like
you
Pain?
Yeah. You seen me on yo? I played Athena support last time in ranked. I carried, but I also went 9-1. My Hunter was 3-7.
Yeah,
Like-
there's a reason. Yeah. You were just kill stealing all over the place.
But
Way
see,
to
the
let
thing is that
way to let
the
your hunter
player-
snowball, man. Way to let your hunter
The player
snowball.
personalities that wind up playing professional support. You take a look at Jeff Hindler. I mean, Wolfie, you and I went out with him, and like
Yeah.
Jeff's just a dude that's there to just have a good time, and
Mm.
Shadow
Yeah.
Q's just a subdued guy that wants to make all the math work out. And the spotlight is cool when it comes. Like Jeff's not gonna cry and pull a Kurt Cobain when somebody's going Jeff the Sex Hindler because he nailed a good hog, but he doesn't need it. So I don't know. The whole MVP thing is it's fun. It's a lot of fun, and at the end of the day, Barracuda got himself like a triple kill and won the game. What the intricacies of that was, that's a different conversation.
agree.
But at the end of the day, Snipe was winning, and then Barracuda happened. Everyone died, and Cog won the game. They went to game 2, and that was over in 14 minutes.
Yeah.
Yo, legit. I was watching that game. I'm like, I got time to make myself an egg sandwich. I want to go cook myself some scraps. I come back 16-2. What the hell happened?
It was not
a
a grand finals we all expected.
I'm just
at all.
saying, momentum is
Yeah.
real.
Mhm.
And in this particular case, I'm not talking about the positive momentum that COG took. I'm talking about the backside in Snipe comms that I don't have any official information on about losing that game. Wolfie is grinning like a little kid
Yeah,
opened
right?
up his Christmas Eve presents because he
I know
knows
exactly
what I'm
how that
talking
went.
about.
Snipey
But-
comes back and is like, what? What now?
And
Yeah.
I'm not
Exactly
even
what happened.
throwing Snipe under
Yeah.
the bus. Y'all won the game.
Yeah.
It was 45 minutes in, and a single team fight makes you lose. That's gonna make anybody salty.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Recovering from that
Happened
is
with
a
everybody.
big deal.
It happened
And-
to Dignitas for a Snipe in that one tournament when they lost to Nuwa. Like I know, because Lasses hates the cheese. Lasses hates cheese. So the moment I saw Nuwa happen, I was like, oh no, they're done for the next game because that man and Lass are pissed. That man and Lass are fuming. Like you can see the smoke coming out of that Lass's ears. Like I knew it, and you could just tell by the way they played. You
Yeah.
could tell.
Yeah,
Zapman
no,
was
it-
extra thirsty. It was like 4 a.m. on a female stream. Zapman was extra thirsty in that last game.
Oh man.
And Lash just
Really?
could not,
Is that man in
think.
Young Bay Thirst Incorporated?
Brisk, baby. You just
with Vice President the Best?
Oh god. So.
But so those grand finals were, unfortunately Snipe played. The sad part about it is Snipe played phenomenally in the first. I can't even say half of that game. For the first 9/10 of the game, Snipe played phenomenally. And like I said, it was just a single team fight that lost it. And COG, all credit to COG.
They never
Because-
lost mentality and composure, and they kept in the game the whole time.
Exactly. Not a lot of players and teams can lose a game for 45 minutes and then come back and win. It's not something that
Yeah.
everybody has in their character.
Nope.
It's not something that everybody has in their medal. And even if one or two players do, it don't mean the other three do. And you need that team mentality.
Was it COG at the launch tournament that was like
That beat
behind?
us, yeah.
That was behind by
Yes,
like a
yes,
ridiculous
that was
amount of
against
gold.
us.
Because I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
F.58 and Crack casted that. That's right. Yeah, was behind by a ton and ended up turning it around. And I feel like that's just like that's COG and like
That man
that's their
had-
team.
Yeah, I'm still
I feel like.
it's still
Yep.
too soon.
Yeah.
It's
It's too soon.
That
that
was
was-
too low HP. That was too soon.
But like,
that was a rough loss. That was a rough
I mean, I
loss.
guess my question is, are we gonna start like, is COG definitely that late game team where like if you allow it to go to late game, they can turn it around? Like
From being in comms with them,
yeah.
I can 100% guarantee when something bad happens, nobody's in a bad mood.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how many. You could be losing the entire game. Not a single one of them are mad. And I get mad in ranked games. But when I was playing with them and we were losing, it was so calm. I was like, this is cool. Like, I'm okay with this. And there's not a single. We just, oh, let's try to do this instead. They took this, let's do this.
That's impressive.
Pick someone off.
That's impressive.
Not a single negative anything. It's like the most. I don't know how to explain it.
That's a huge change, by the way. Without throwing any names under the bus.
Yeah.
What the hell? I'm F-Dot.
I know.
Dare to Care certainly wasn't like that.
Oh,
and
okay.
when you had one person in there, Andy was pushed because of Dare. With the change from Dare to Jeff, the entire culture changed, not because Jeff brought like the Hosanna to the highest, but because Dare to Care was just toxic, and it pushed Andy the wrong way. You bring Jeff into the situation where everybody else is okay with everything, and Andy's okay with everything.
I feel like that shows quite a bit of maturity though for the team as well. Like to understand the value of yes, like one team fight, you know, is not going to, in most cases, not going to determine your entire game, and you can pick up from that and continue moving forward with it and fix your mistakes. So you know, kudos to COG for sure for like having that maturity, especially in voice chat.
I think they just know that they're that good.
You
That's
think?
also true.
Well, yo, I'm not putting anybody on a pedestal or anything like that.
They just Dig and they'll know that they are so good that if it gets a late game, if it is against anyone other than Dig or COG, they cannot team fight you.
Yeah.
They know that.
Yeah.
They know that, and that's not even. It's not being cocky. That's not being.
No,
They just
reasonable
know.
confidence.
They just know in a team fight, they could probably outplay you.
Okay.
Even if it's against Dig, they're not afraid of anyone else, and that is every team should have that.
There's a
You
reason
should
I've
know you
always
can outplay them.
applauded it. I've always applauded the whole like Omega, like it was actually really good. COG was sieging down middle lane, and Omega's playing Chalk, so he's zoning out the enemy team by standing in between the Phoenix and the tower that his team is killing, and he's taunting. Dude, I'm killing all your stuff. You can't touch me. It's that. I like that. Bring more of it. I like it. But yeah, I mean, COG is just a team, and I think that as we go on, any of these teams will be able to do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because the game can swing. It's a game of, the later the game goes on, the smaller the margin of error becomes, and I love it. It's a soft enrage mechanic. If you guys have ever played MMOs,
Yep.
It's a soft enrage in the sense that like players just get more powerful and powerful. At 50 minutes, your hunter's going to four-shot anybody but a tank. It's just going to happen. So when you're 3 steps out of position, you're going to die. You're not going to get poked down to 20% and be able to get healed up by your Achie's Aphrodite. You're just going to die, kid. And the better team with better positioning is going to go ahead and take the win. Unless you can close before that. Snipe couldn't do that. They lost to Cognitive Gaming in spectacular fashion. And then game number 2, Snipe was too busy being upset about the loss, and 14 minutes and 27 seconds, COG won.
Wow.
Just done. We saw explosions like that in the European scene as well. European scenes this week, it was Cloud9 won over Team Solo Mid. SK Gaming beat i5 in the Alquag. So SK beat i5 in the third place match, which was fun, but who cares? We had like 3 hours of games coming out from Cloud9 versus TSM. It's a fantastic matchup that we just don't get to see that often because Europe is foaming at the mouth with all of this young talent. All these strange teams have come and won tournaments. SK Gaming came back from the grave and came back and won a tournament, for Christ's sakes. Everybody's a winner. Cloud9's the consistent number 2. They're always there. Team Solo Mid comes back. Zimstar. So Andrew Man was talking to Zimstar. Zimstar just kicked his team in the ass and was like, look, I know that we're guaranteed to go. We're still going to win.
It's
going to happen. And for a team that hasn't won in a while, that's cool as hell to hear about.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened is Team Solo Mid put the pedal to the metal, and they were winning for about 45 minutes in game 1. Cloud9 comes.
I was very surprised by that ending.
And they win. They don't win in one team fight like Cog
No.
did. It took a fight. They slowly clawed back, and by the time they won, they were still. I think they were ahead by 2,000 gold with the gold that they get from killing the Phoenixes.
Can I give a shout out to Yunbei on that one? Because I know that's partially his mentality.
Yes.
Because he was probably the first player out of everyone in the world to just be like, stop being a pansy and giving up. You're playing the game. We're 15,000 behind. You're playing the game.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't care if you're crying. Shut the hell up. You're playing the game. That's Yunbei in competitive play, by the way.
That's pretty sweet.
That's Yunbei in competitive play. If you are crying because you're losing, he puts duct tape over your mouth.
And it's good.
Yeah,
It's good.
no, I can agree. I could say I was actually impressed as well to see SK Gaming like in it again. You know, like I'm really happy to see them up in the top 4 once again this week. You know, we had talked about them the other week, and we were wondering, oh, is this just something that we're going to see? It's just, you know, it was just that week for them. They were feeling it that week, but I'm actually pretty impressed, and it's definitely going to help them as we start to look at the rankings here for like top 4 and 5 without a doubt. So, anything last to go over for European scene? You want to go over some more regarding European?
Yeah, we just started touching it.
Do it.
So we get into game 2. And Team Solo Mid, as I said, they were leading game 1 for a long time. And, you know, credits to Yunbei with that steadfast attitude. It's something that I absolutely love. As much as I love the taunt and cocky confidence that comes out from teams like Cognitive Gaming, I also love the steadfast, don't worry about it, we can still win that comes from Cognitive Gaming. And also Yunbei in this case. I love it all. So, Lou DZ 888. This is an Izzy. Shouts to DM Brandon. This is not Smirnoff Orange. You need to hold that. But all right, back to what I was saying. So Team Solo Mid got mad, and this is something that I like about TSM. They're very emotional in a good way. TSM gets mad a lot. When they get mad, they win.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Zimstar's not a guy to yell. Zimstar's not the dad that comes in saying, "You didn't clean your room. What's good?" Zimstar's the kind of dad that's like, "Yeah, I just thought you would have a clean room. You disappointed me." And it feels worse. It just feels worse. Like it feels worse than getting your face slapped. And that's what Zim does to his team. And they see that happen. And again, I'm not in comms, but I imagine, guys, we had that game. I can't believe I can't believe we lost it. That was rough. I don't want to see that again. And they made sure it didn't happen. They took a lead, and Cloud9 HyperX, Hinduman tweeted it because he stole it from me. We discussed it off camera. How I think Cloud9 is one of the best defensive teams in the game. I think Cloud9 plays defense better than almost anybody. We saw 5 people with Fire Giant aggress onto a single right Phoenix, and Cloud9 defended it.
Yeah,
Show
that
me
was
another
ridiculous.
team that does that. Cloud9, there's a reason they're a consistent number 2. They completely stopped the aggression. Not many teams can do that. So it did take TSM about 45 minutes to win that game, but they did not give up a lead once. They did not give a lead up in any of the 4 categories. Structures, kills, gold, experience. They led from minute 1 to minute 56 or 40. I don't even care. They just led from the beginning to the end, and it is what it is. Fantastic play. That took it to a game 3. TSM was doing the same thing. They led from minute 1 they led from minute 1. I have to amend that. They were winning. Cloud9 started to come back a little bit, didn't take the lead. Cloud9 went for the Fire Giant, and Team Solo Mid did the right thing where they came to defend it. Problem is, they marched like ants, single file, and Sio closed his eyes and pressed 4. It eliminated the whole team. Realistically, what happened was on that Fire Giant push, they all came up single file. Sio hit 4, unleashed the Eternal Dragon, as I like to call it.
he one-shot the Freya and the Apollo. The other three were on the opposite side, but he one-shot those two.
That was ridiculous.
Just annihilated them with the ultimate coming out, completely done, and Cloud9 just said, "Go, go, 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 go!" They just spammed radio commands because they won the game with a single play. That's what happens. We talked earlier about the soft and rage, and that's what happens. A single team fight can win the game. They actually won the game at a deficit. They won the game behind 4K gold.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Fantastic play. And I mean, was it a high calculated team fight? Was it an intricate battle of positions? Was it who's the better support? Was it an intricate, well, this guy landed 87.6% of his attacks, but 72.9% of the time the wind was going to the east? No, it was one dude hitting an ultimate. But he knew where the team was. He used his brain to figure out that they was coming up the lane. He hit them exactly where they needed to, and that's what won the game. It was exciting as hell. I got to cast, and that as a caster, that's the most fun stuff, because not that I make stuff up anyway, but what you got out of myself and Hindu Man is pure, unadulterated fan response. It was just...
Was that the screenshot that you see out there with you and Hindu? And Hindu's eyes are like this? Like wide open, real big? And yeah,
that was actually the Zeus pick. Because what the hell is Sayo doing picking Zeus? But that's a different story. But no, I mean, like, you know, I don't say things like wow or oh my god. My job as the caster is to explain what happens. Your job as the viewers to go wow, oh my god. I just sat there and I gave my... It hit 3 of them! They are gone! They are no longer here! It was absolutely fantastic. It was one of the most explosive moments that we've ever seen. So it was cool.
I got excited too.
Who did?
I flipped out.
Chat died. Like, I'm pretty sure 70 people got banned.
For spamming,
I was like, no way. As though that was just like, I changed my title to Al Kong OP. I was like, I've been there before. That sucks. That's happened to me before in a competitive game. We just got murdered by an Al Kong.
I will have to say I like the comment in chat. F-Dot could commentate a turtle eating an apple, and I would be screaming in hypeness. That's awesome. But no, I can agree. I mean,
thanks, I appreciate that. But you know, and of course, there's a bigger picture. Just one game.
Yeah.
That exciting game was Game 3, so Cloud9 went ahead and took the gold. So
yeah, that's huge.
Cloud9 and TSM were already mathematically guaranteed to go to the LAN. There is no magic number. The magic number is 0 for them. They need to win 0 games. This game was completely about pride. And I don't know about you, but I know the guys on these teams. And for those of you at home saying like, "Oh, it doesn't matter to them," you guys got more wrong.
Oh, it matters.
Yeah.
Oh, it matters.
Like
it matters.
Especially with the early rivalry in the qualifiers too. Like week 1, Cloud9, week 2, TSM. You know, week 3, it's just back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
Oh, it matters.
Youngbay wants to be like the whole Hunter trade. You know, Youngbay, like it's absolutely insane. A lot of undertones and storylines that make Smite bigger than just a couple of gods on a computer game. And that's the real meat and potatoes of the game, and that's what's fun about it. And also the implications of the rest. So, because we had somebody play spoiler this week. Worth Gaming, unfortunately, due to a DC yesterday, did not win. Fusion was just offline. So that's going to be a thing. Or Variety, rather.
Oh, okay.
Variety was just offline. That's totally going to be a thing. They wound up losing. To be fair, I think they would have lost that game anyway. But nobody can tell. But nobody can tell that. That is personal conjecture and opinion, and do not take that to the bank. Nobody can say who won that game. But unfortunately, just like injuries in traditional sports, technical difficulties happen. That sucks because of the bigger implications.
Yep.
we take a look at the rankings past number 4, and that's really where it comes into, because
Yeah.
these teams are still jockeying for position. You take a look at where is it? With Variety's team,
First.
what was that?
I hope they take first next week.
I would love to see it.
That'd be nuts.
Just come back angry as hell, just foaming at the mouth, like Dorito crumbs just dripping out. Just angry, like this is mine.
Yeah. So the seed points as it stands right now, Cognitive Gaming has 640 and Dignitas stands at 620 with respects to North America. So they're set.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have Stipe and Cog Red at 385 and 240 respectively. Nobody's really going to touch Snipe.
Yeah,
So
there's quite a bit of a spread there. Like that's a big spread. That's not happening.
Yeah. So NA is kind of set in stone.
Yeah.
You have Angry Men and Cog. We just said Cog's at 240, Angry Men's at 212. That's close, but
if 5 Angry Men take third,
so
can't make it.
So here's my
Very true.
question. So like those of you guys if you joining in, Wolfie did go ahead and play on 5 Angry Men this past week as kind of a sub, helping to lock that in, get those points in there. My question is you're kind of talking a little bit about that. Do you think in other esports they do it, kind of have mercenaries in regards to people like yourself, Wolfie, that came in, allowed you guys to go ahead and lock that team, allow them to lock in for those points? Do you think we're going to see this more and more?
It's allowed in the game right now because I wasn't roster locked to a team.
Yes.
I physically can't go play for another team next week.
yeah.
Okay.
It's not allowed.
Okay.
I can play for somebody else for the Pro League for like Challengers Cup or whatever.
Okay.
But I cannot play next week on another team.
Okay.
I want 5 Angry Men for next week or bust.
Because I think this is is it now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Counter-Strike it is, like mercenaries is like a huge thing over there. So that's why I wasn't sure. Like, I don't know, F-Dot, what do you think about like mercenaries kind of like it is a thing. It is a thing. So
Garbage, and it shouldn't be a thing.
yeah.
I really don't like it in a game like Smite because of how team-oriented it is.
Yeah, right there.
The reason,
Okay.
or at least one of the more celebrated
Yeah.
reasons, is that teams like Dignitas win is because, they've been a team for 2 years. I put on my "you're an idiot" voice, but you're not an idiot. If that's what you think. It's a real thing. Chemistry's a real thing.
Yeah.
Wolfie can come in and help 5 angry dudes win a couple of games, but he didn't win first. And that's not because Wolfie isn't the best player in the world. That's because their team mentality it was different. They had to adjust to a new play. There's so many variables involved, and it's a lot less fun to watch an individual play spoiler than it is watching a team climb to the top.
Yeah, I mean, I could agree. I just, I think it's awesome what occurred, and I think it'll be interesting to see how things work out like next week, with kind of week 10 there. I mean, you don't know if you'll be playing next weekend, correct, Wolfie?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have absolutely no idea. It's completely up to, and I also told them. I told them like they spoke to me earlier, like right after the tournament. They didn't like hold their mouth. They're like, we don't know if we're going to use you again.
Okay.
Purely because of having to like adjust to you. And I was like, I completely agree, and I appreciate being spoke to. Whatever the hell, it's fine. I told them it's all up to you guys, and no hard feelings. Whatever you guys decide.
Yeah.
I pretty much played to help you guys out because you guys need a jungler, and we were friends from previous tournaments, etc. So that's and I can't realistically get on a team for the LAN as of right now, anyways.
Okay.
It doesn't negatively affect me. So there's no guarantee that I'm gonna be playing with anybody, and there's no guarantee that I'm not going to be. But if I do play, it's with 5 Angry Men because I am roster locked.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I think the roster locking is a huge deal. One of the biggest problems that you referenced Counter-Strike, one of the biggest problems that Pro Counter-Strike has is that their teams don't have, like, Complexity just lost a guy because he felt like it.
Really?
Like, nothing just bounced. or rather, Swag just bounced. He just left to go join iBuyPower for no reason. He
really?
just bounced, and that sucks.
There's not really roster locking. You can just kind of swap around. It's like the whole root curse thing back in the day. Yeah.
It's all contracts, and contracts in esports are. It's up to the organization. Things become so wishy-washy, and it sucks, you know. And the rules that Smite put in place, it sucks for players that get put in an awkward situation, a la Wolfie and IRAFer, but it's better for the sport overall, I think.
Yeah.
And Jingle Malfoy. There's a couple people out there.
You
got your places they don't want to be.
You got your own club. All right, so let's talk about our EU rankings a little bit. What do we got?
EU rankings are so the winner of this exciting tournament today took first place, and that's why it meant so much. Cloud9 HyperX is in first with 575, and TSM gets 520. Now, Europe is a lot closer than the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So those guys in the 500, see you later. It's been fun. Y'all already won. You could just take off and not show up, and you're still number one. Team Coast Blue, previously known as Worth Gaming, who lost, which sucks. Team Coast Blue is still in third with 274, and SK's got 232. I5 got 217, and Agilitas has 210. 3 to 6 are separated by 60 points.
It's ridiculous. Like
that's a third place victory.
Next week's gonna be the week to watch, for sure. It's gonna be awesome.
Next week's gonna be a huge deal for the European scene. And the beauty of it is Team Coast Blue, SK Gaming, I5, and Agilitas all have what it takes to win. Number one.
Mm-hmm.
These teams can and have beat Team Solo Mid and Cloud9.
Oh, yeah?
Every single one of them has beat at least TSM or Cloud9. Yes, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of them has done it. Team Coast Blue, previously known as Worth Gaming, they're a powerful team.
Yeah.
Shaggy Shank scares some of the top hunters in the game. I5, Durgius plays a mean support. You got to watch out for the jungle as well. Ninja Boat. SK Gaming, I mean...
Yeah, they kind of came out of nowhere again.
Gnarly. SK Gaming just goes off sometimes, dude. They're a powder keg.
I want to move to EU. I want to move to EU.
Didn't you say that? I think you said that last time we were on, to be honest with you. I think you
honestly,
said that.
Like, I want to, not only for the sake of competition, because it's better competition over there.
Yeah.
But it's closer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't feel like, and I don't mean to call any names out or anything like that, but scrimming Cog and Dig are better than scrimming Critosaurus. It's just you could tell. Like, and that's not offensive to the team itself, because everyone on Critosaurus knows I love them. But it's the honest to God truth. I can go scrim I5 and not feel like I'm not scrimming TSM.
Right.
Like, it's the compensation is closer, and you can tell.
There's
so
just
much.
There's more
teams
talent. There's more talent.
There is.
Europe
And I
just
wish I
has
was
more
there.
established talent.
I wish I was there.
And I implore a lot of the North American teams to come out. And here we go. Matt, MLB Star. Like I said, he's a great content creator. If you're ever on the Smite subreddit and you're looking at something esports related, chances are MLB posted it or posted what inspired it. He just tweeted at me an interesting scenario that can come out. Coast can get knocked out if Agilitas win and an SK or I5 come in second place. That is a definite real situation. Zindern can just go eat his Wheaties, win number one, and win out over SK. That's a very real possibility. Is it the most likely thing to happen in the universe? Probably not. Is it possible? Yes. So, this whole European scene is a powder keg, man. It is absolutely insane. It's exciting. It's exciting.
All right, so sorry, I'm distracted by something a little bit here. I'm trying to set up. So any last comments, I guess, on NA or EU for our current qualifiers moving into week 10 of what we have left right now for our qualifiers moving forward?
Not particularly. I think I covered everything that I really wanted to, everything that was swimming around my head, which is a lot, but frankly, It was a great weekend, not just because I got to scream over the mic about all the games. It legitimately was just one of the most memorable weeks we've had in Smite eSports in a while. Am I wrong on that, Wolfie? Do you think that this week was crazy as hell?
Oh, it was great. It was fantastic. It was fun. I got to play. I was happy. I just want to play. I just want to play. Oh, can I give a shout out?
Go
Just
for
came
it.
in the chat. Cubo Fred.
Oh, look at this boy.
And I have to say this because when he first joined TSM, and people have quoted me on saying this, I have said that Cubo Fred was the weaker person on that team because I didn't think he was a very good jungler when he first started. He is the most improved player on TSM by a mile.
Do you see my little ponytail?
I see it. I see it. I see it.
Oh man,
Cubo
you gotta rep that.
A beast right now. I saw Cubo this weekend. He's a beast this weekend, and I like giving credit where credit is due, and he got way better than what he used to be. I respect it.
Since the launch tournament for sure.
If we're going with improved players, I really want to give a shout out to Maniac. I think Maniac came on to SK as a strong player, but not the player he's been playing as. I think Maniac has improved very quickly. Very quickly. They picked him up and it was like, sweet, he's not NQ. And now I see him and I'm like, he's not NQ, but god damn, he's Maniac. Watch out. Fantastic plays from Afro coming out from Maniac. Absolutely insane. And, and you're on point with Cuba as well. A lot of people were saying what you just said. And the plays he made today, great plays. Highlight plays. In fact, literally, we made Adonis run the highlight reel a lot over Cubo Fred. Just saying.
All right. So, any last comments for esports in general that you guys can think of at this point?
Smite rules.
Wolfie, anything else you got?
That's that. Nope.
All right.
I'm gonna say it, and I said it before, and I'll say it again. Smite is the future of MOBAs.
All right. I like it.
I'm honest to God truth watching League of Legends and Dota right now, and it's not the same.
Okay. I like it. There's nothing wrong with that. I'll take it for sure.
It's not the same.
So, moving on from here, our last topic for today, RTX and Iron Gaming. So, there's a lot to there's a lot and there's not a lot to talk about.
I gotta go. I gotta go. I got something to do.
I'm gonna leave this one to you, Octane.
I gotta go pick up my friend. I stubbed my toe. My dog ate my homework.
So
gotta go.
So this past weekend, RTX was going on in Austin, and at that event, Iron Gaming, which has been in the scene for a little while right now, Iron Gaming's been doing their amateur tournament league going on. Kind of like a very shock to the Smite team. All of a sudden, an organization comes in and is hosting an amateur tournament. We've kind of shared our frustrations with amateur tournaments in the past, how if you're going to want to play competitive, there's only one competitive scene type of deal. And so they came in, they hosted a few qualifying weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks maybe for this event. They're very, very short. It is nothing long at all. Very, very short events. Casted by Shadow Boy and Peckies, is it? Am I correct?
Yeah, here and there. Yeah.
Here, I know there's kind of a swap up there a little bit. And so we had the Iron Gaming pretty much went and had an event at RTX. Now, did Hi-Rez have a booth at RTX or no? It was just the Iron Gaming event was kind of the Smite event there. Do you guys know?
It was to my knowledge, it was the Iron Gaming Smite event.
Okay. So Iron Gaming was one of many multiple things at RTX, and they did have Smite, they had Counter-Strike there, and they had a few other big games there. And
Smite, CS, and Halo.
Perfect.
4.
Perfect. Thank you for qualifying.
4.
You sound salty about
I know about the 4. Yeah, right?
Like, he just looks mad. Like,
why is it 4? It should have been 3. They even voted on it.
Yeah, it's all right. So moving on from there, the Iron Gaming booth, there, the event was an amateur event, and do you guys know what?
Stop.
Okay, amateur. It was advertised as an amateur event.
No, it was not. No,
really?
it was not. It was amateur
Never
and
was.
pro.
Amateur
It was
and pro?
amateur
Okay.
and pro.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Excellent.
amateur
Once again,
and
no.
pro.
Okay.
It said from day one that there will be pro teams invited to play against amateur
Okay.
players
Okay.
and the finals.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
Okay, well,
From
perfect.
day
Well, perfect.
one.
And that makes complete sense. And I'm glad like that you pointed that out because that's the important stuff. Because there's literally like a list of Reddit posts right now under the Smite Reddit. It is like a cesspool right now of just
A lot of people can't read.
yeah, about that. And I think that's important for sure. I mean, as Woofy had said, like, invited. Pro teams can be invited. They don't need to qualify. And how many teams were there that were qualified that were there? Do you guys know?
That I don't.
That you don't know off the top of your head?
I did not follow the Iron Gaming weeklies.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't follow it.
Okay. Okay. And understandable for sure. And so, long story short, all said and done, there were a few conflicts that were seen. It was just a lot of drama in the scene. The big one that people were arguing about was the fact that Dignitas kind of was invited, brought in, and kind of stomped the teams that were there. And there was a lot of people that were frustrated. Granted, there was a lot of people that weren't, like the team that they played against. Like, they didn't have a problem with it. They learned from it. They even made a huge like Reddit post about it. And they were like really thrilled about it. Like, hey, here's who we are. We learned a lot, blah, blah, blah. But there was a lot of people that were very upset about it. And we kind of discussed this at the top of the show, how, pro teams and amateur teams, there shouldn't be these labels. It's all the competitive scene. Everybody should be playing against everybody if you want to get better. And we kind of understand that.
I agree with that.
And so there was a big deal about it. And there was a lot of drama made about it. And all said and done, like waiting a day or two later, we went ahead and realized, like, hey, it's not as much of a big deal as what people are making it. It's just that people didn't understand it completely. It kind of sucked that there weren't other pro teams there, I will admit. It would have been nice to see, like, a COG there and, Snipe or whoever.
COG misread the rules.
Really?
COG thought they couldn't go, but they could.
Oh, really? Really?
There are a lot of things that went wrong over this weekend that involved Iron Gaming.
Okay.
But the fact that we didn't see more pro teams is not their fault.
Okay, for sure. And we definitely tapped on like the whole like amateur versus pro. All three of us agree, get rid of those titles and just make it a competitive tournament. Like, I'm gonna have to say, to be honest with you guys, Iron Gaming could have done so much better in their viewership numbers over the past several months that they've been in the scene if they just supported the competitive scene overall and didn't just go, these tournaments are only for amateurs and here's my 50 viewers. Like, I'm sorry, but the big name teams are what sell viewership, and if you want to expand your organization in the Smite scene, I mean, here's my thought on it, to be honest with you. We saw NIP there playing for the Counter-Strike scene.
Counter-Strike
and stuff, they did good.
Counter-Strike was really big. Counter-Strike brought a number of European teams over.
Yeah.
They brought Anders. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the Counter-Strike team, Anders is Hi-Rez Bart, essentially. He doesn't work for Valve, but there's going to be fanboys in chat, whether you like Bart or Dry Bear. I guess those are the two best examples.
Okay.
He is the big mama jamma of Counter-Strike casting. Anders from Ninjas in Pajamas is the one. That's where a lot of the ESEA stuff is handled. I mean, this was an ESEA land. So the way Counter-Strike works, it works sort of like the Capcom Pro Tour, where established tournaments just sort of get like points thrown at them. That's what happens with the ESEA. So it was huge for Counter-Strike. For Smite, not so much.
And it's a shame because like an organization like Iron Gaming comes in, it's definitely apparent they have money to throw at the scene, and they don't make it open to everybody in regards to qualifying and stuff like that.
I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again.
Go for it.
If you're an amateur and you're scared to go against a pro team, man up and QQ.
Yeah.
QQ and man up. Like, legit. Like, honestly, got truth.
Yeah.
Stop. Like, you're trying to play. You're trying to compete, but you don't want to go against the best.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Like, that's disrespectful to the best.
So here's my concern though, like with Iron Gaming, like you saying that, Wolfie. This is like their first of many tournaments coming up over the next several weeks. Like, they're like popping out events like every other month, I feel like, that we're gonna see them at. And
that's cool.
It's cool.
All this amateur crap.
It's cool. Exactly. I completely agree. Like, hey, we support you being in the scene. We're not gonna throw Iron Gaming under the bus. Like, hey, thank you for coming to, check out Smite. But let's get rid of the amateur title. Let's open up qualifiers for everybody. Let's support the scene as a whole. And hey, let's raise your awareness for your organization. You want to have more viewers online? Like, let's do it.
This seems like a really fighting game-esque style of tournament, which is cool.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna do that, you got to make it fun for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, they can have plenty of people there, and there can be plenty of amateur teams losing, and that's perfectly fine. But you got to make the event fun for them too.
Yeah.
Like when we traveled around and playing fighting game tournaments, like you might have lost in a round of 32, but you were there for the atmosphere. You were hanging out with your friends.
Yeah.
You went over there. You hung out. You ended up playing it better, but you weren't like it wasn't like the end of the world if you lost. You still had fun. They were still fun, and that should be. You want amateur teams to do these things. You want amateur teams to compete against the best. You want them to travel over to play in your tournaments, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
That's how you grow a scene.
But make it fun.
Yeah.
Make it enjoyable for us. You know what I mean? Make it fun for those players to be there.
Yeah.
Like, I understand you don't want to travel to this tournament because you're going to lose. You're not going to do anything the whole weekend. Completely understand that. I don't understand you not playing in a weekend tournament because you're scared of losing. When you're just sitting at your house, that's a completely different story. Traveling is, you have to pay money, etc., etc. Make it fun. What else are we going to do there? Oh, we're going to go here. We're going to do this. We're going to have the Smite get together, blah. We're going to hang out.
Exactly.
It's a tournament, but we're also all going to meet up in the bar across the street that night and $5 drinks.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And we'd go just to hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The setups that Iron Gaming
Yeah,
had,
that was my second thing. But go for it. You got it. Please do it.
Oh, the pack setups. I don't even
they
wanna
were
think
they
about
were
those
a little
Did you see the post? The picture?
Yeah, of course I did. So Scoots and I are. I mean, I wouldn't say Scoots and I are we're not friends, but I've shook the man's hand. I've had a couple of conversations with him, and I respect his work. And it basically what happened is Counter-Strike teams tweeted out pictures of them with like the keyboards on their laps. Nanton tweeted out that the game system was he had higher ping than he would at his house.
Yeah.
It was on like. Let me find it because Nanton is absolutely hilarious.
I have the picture of the table, but I don't have the picture of the one. I saw the picture though of like the NIP where there were some teams at this event, and I'm eager to see from like any of the Smite players that were there, like what their experience was on their setup. Like I don't.
Well, here Nanton is a comedic genius, and I had to look for the exact quote. Homie said, "LAN, quote unquote, equals 4 times the ping you're used to on equipment you see in elementary schools from the 90s."
Yeah.
So, I think that paints the story.
Yeah.
Not on in chat right now. I couldn't see my health bar. The power went out multiple times. We DC'd from 3 games. We couldn't aim or click any actives. The Halo guys, Sudoth 1, Sudoth 2, they were for reality check, they were talking about how the daisy chains just didn't work.
Jeez.
Like there was a lot of infrastructure that kind of fell short.
Okay, so they were saying they had the same setup as the CS:GO guys, and that's a shame, to be honest with you, because this was Iron Gaming's first big Smite LAN tournament here, and you kind of mess it up in a few ways, guys. To be honest, we'll kind of throw it out there,
right.
and do it right, because yeah.
But you know what? I might get in trouble for this, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yo, go for it.
Treat it like your first time with a girl. You go all out for that first time.
Yep.
You take her out, you wine and dine her, you wear the cologne, you gotta treat her right that first time.
Some people like Wolfie wear too much cologne.
That's right. Don't even care.
Oh, so true, so true. So yeah, I mean, I can agree with you guys. This was a big deal, and it is. As I said before, we love the fact that you're in the Smite scene, that you're looking to promote esports, the competitive side. But I think all 3 of us will say, hey, we'll call organizations out or people out, if they're not doing it right. And I think that's where we're coming at. And I mean, we're happy Hi-Rez was there. We're happy Dignitas was there. We're happy that things were occurring, furthering the esports scene. Awesome. Great. But the past several 15 minutes, like we don't want to see it happen again because
think-
we want to see Iron Gaming do better so that we as the scene can do better.
Yeah, I mean, Smite was definitely the quietest group of screams amongst the yelling.
Yeah.
The Halo situation, and I mean, Halo's a dead game. That's a different situation completely. They handled Halo very, very, very poorly.
That's a shame.
Extremely poorly. A lot of the decision making with staff and casters, everybody involved in the Halo situation, it just didn't really work out.
Yeah.
They just really dropped the ball, dude.
Yeah.
They employed casters and surprise fired them just before RTX so they could get
Oh,
big
I
names.
saw that. Oh my word.
I'm friends with the dudes that casted. I'm friends with them. I'm happy that Golden Boy.
Can you imagine? Oh my
lots
word.
of stuff happened that left people salty. The Halo community voted on things that they wanted to play. Iron Gaming just decided that's not how they wanted to handle it. Faulty equipment that we just talked about. Daisy chains that connect Xboxes together just didn't work. The dudes from Reality Check were talking about how their controller, like, stuff just didn't work. It really sucked. They played a game that nobody wanted to play. The fact that they played Halo 4 instead of Halo 3 was a big deal. And they didn't even choose the community voted upon standard rule set for the tournament, so
That's
they played
ridiculous.
weird stuff that didn't make anybody happy.
Yeah.
They played Arena in Smite. A lot of stuff in all of the stuff that was handled by Iron Gaming this weekend went really poorly. But with respects to the actual, a lot of the stuff that Smite scene is yelling about is not the reason to be yelling if you want to be yelling.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But one
Like,
go
Don't
ahead.
yell that Dignitas read the rules, bro. Like, and. So the way it worked with Halo, I have no information as far as Smite
Okay.
or Counter.
Yeah, we have it. Yeah, I mean,
I have no information on any of that. But the way it worked for Halo was that if amateur teams came, they played through weekly qualifiers and they purchased a play ticket. If you were a professional team, you were required to tweet out and promote Iron Gaming. And if they didn't reach X amount of followers, you weren't invited. You had to buy your own pass just like everybody else. But if you did get them a whole bunch of followers, then you were invited for free. I don't think that that's how Smite worked. That's my own intuition.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's how any of the other stuff worked. Like I said, Halo is a much more difficult game to pick up because it's freaking dead. So there might have been more stringent stuff going on there. But as far as that whole, like, Dignitas read the rules, homie.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like, it is what it is. They read the rules.
Yeah, I actually shot Twitter posts like midway through, or DMs midway through the show to some of the guys from Dig, giving them, like, you can call in. There's a call-in number, giving them the number. They told me they were busy today because they wanted to get in and talk about this. But I was like, hey, if you're available, here's the phone number. Like, call into the show. And I was hoping that we would get a chance to talk to them, like, right now about the fact and, like, how it went and stuff like that. But my understanding is they're doing something right now. But I know, like, they don't get back till Monday. Like, they don't get back home till Monday or whatever. But I mean, one thing just with Iron Gaming, which I'm surprised I didn't learn from, was at the Smite launch event, which Iron Gaming was actually involved with the Expo. They were involved with over at the Expo. They had a booth over there, and they had 20 computers set up to play Smite on. I went over there earlier on just to go check out a few things, and I'm surprised I didn't learn from it. They didn't have enough keyboards and mice to have all 20 computers playing. They only had enough for 10. So they had all these computers set up, but only 10 computers worked. And for the 10 computers that were there, they didn't have enough tables. So they had 5 computers on like 6-foot tables or whatever, to the point where your keyboard was there and your mouse was so close to your keyboard that you could barely move your mouse more than like an inch. And I'm surprised they didn't take that knowledge and what they learned and applied it. Like, but this is like basic, like, computer esports competitive, like 101. Like, hey, your players need to be as comfortable as possible. And it just, I'm surprised. What I'm saying is, like, I'm surprised that it didn't reflect, like, hey, take notes. What could we have done better? Oh, our next Smite event, we need to have X, Y, and Z set up. So it drives me nuts when organizations like that don't learn from previous mistakes.
Natan's saying it in chat. Fusion OP's backing him up.
Okay.
They're on the same team. I've seen other people say it, not just in the Smite scene.
Okay.
That Iron Gaming did go around and ask whether it was Aaron himself or other people,
Okay.
they did go around and ask, like, yo, looks like we screwed up. What can we do next time?
Okay, that's awesome.
That to
Good.
me means a lot. And I'm not exactly burning down the bridges that
Yeah.
a lot of people in the various scenes that were involved with this Iron Gaming stuff did.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly anti-Iron Gaming. If I coached a team, I wouldn't necessarily be super gung-ho about going to a tournament if it was far away. Until they prove the next time that they can handle it.
Yeah.
Like I said, the passion seems to be there. It just seems to be rather misguided.
Yeah.
And hopefully with a little bit of experience under their belt and some help from professional players, which I consider Critosaurus to be professional players.
Agreed.
I think it'll help out the future. So, I think there's a lot of I think it's a very thick conversation, but I would be interested to see what Iron Gaming can do in the future.
Yeah.
That said, I still don't want people watering down the competitive scene. I want to just watch the SPL.
All right. So, any last comments? Iron Gaming, RTX, anything like that?
I like LAN events, and I want more LAN events.
Yeah.
And if this is the only way to get more LAN events, then I'm cool. Like
Okay.
my problem with SPL, the only problem I have with SPL, and this isn't even like something that's like I can complain about because it's just unreasonable.
Yeah.
It's not a LAN. It's not
Right,
OCS.
right.
Yeah.
Yet.
I understand that. I understand that. But I'm gonna say it right. It's not a LAN. So
Yeah.
Until there's consistent LANs like all the
Yeah.
time, I'm more than welcoming Iron Gaming. But if the first most important thing to have at any LAN event over rule sets, over players,
Yeah.
over the screens, over the roaring crowd, comfortable setups.
Mm-hmm.
Playing at PAX was the most annoying, obnoxious.
Oh, I saw that. I wasn't there, but I
And
saw it.
I can't even. They wouldn't let me use my mouse. I'm like, dude, I could plug it in for you. You don't even have to do anything. They're like, no, you're not allowed to use a mouse. I plan on Naga, and I use the buttons on the side, and I wasn't allowed to use it. I had to like completely re-teach myself the game for a tournament. That was horrible.
Yeah.
And I had to look up at a chair that was too small for my fat ass. It was really uncomfortable. It was really bad.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing to have is a comfortable setup for your players.
And the big thing about that too is because then what happens is when a player goes back to the community and they're streaming. For example, like Lassus goes back to the community is streaming, and it's like, yeah, Iron Gaming was great. Everything worked out well. That they directly take that with them, and so the advertising is there and everything. But if a player walks away from an event and is frustrated, kind of like what you're saying here, the seating sucked, I couldn't use my mouse, blah blah blah. Like, you go away with it, and you're like, you will reflect that onto your stream and onto the community, and it's not great.
I think the players, because that is what's going to get people to come to your events even more.
Mm-hmm.
And again, not having anyone come to your event is probably the worst thing to have. Because even if you have the sponsors, if you have no one coming to it, it's a problem. And so, like I said, the first most important thing you got to have over everything else is probably the most simple thing to have. A comfortable setup for people to play in. After that, everything else comes as it rolls. And I think everything else is forgivable to mess up on. An uncomfortable, unplayable area, it ruins the competition. That's my opinion in the situation. Everything else can be worked on. A bad setup. That's just me.
Abstract question that Omega brought up. Soundproof booth, how do you feel about it?
Love them.
Why?
Because for one, and I talk a lot of trash, I kind of want a soundproof booth.
Did you see the speaker behind the players' heads at the launch event?
It was terrible. We weren't allowed to turn around or anything.
Yeah.
I had to move my head around and stuff. I had to be stiff.
Yeah.
And again, when you get excited, you're not allowed to yell. A soundproof booth is huge because the enemy players can't hear you. You can say whatever you want to say, and you can talk to your team together.
Yeah.
You don't always have to use the voice comm all the time.
And you get hyped. You get hyped too. Like big things happen because like when we were at the launch event and I was helping to admin behind COG and I forget who they were playing and they were starting to get super hyped and one of the rules in there was like you cannot like get up in your chair a little bit, like bounce up in your chair a little bit, like yell at all or anything like that. Like that was against the rules. Like you could do a little bit of hype, but not a ton. And I can see the value of the soundproof booth in that. Like I think that's great. Like look at other games and how they do it and how like there's so much hype around like big team plays and it comes out. I agree with you, Wolfie, completely.
I think it is a mentality thing to be able to say what you got to say. In this sense, talk trash. It is something to put you in the zone to play better. And you're not necessarily doing it so the enemy team can hear you.
Yeah.
You might be doing it for yourself. You know what I mean? And you not being able to do that. And again, it's not a game. It's not a deal breaker or anything. But it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice to be like, yeah, just get right. Just get so happy. I can say so many things that are just not okay for everyone else to hear.
I feel you on that. I mean, when you take a look at the old Halo footage and you see somebody jump up, there's the famous Counter-Strike or Call of Duty clip. Look at my bank account. Look at my bank account.
And those guys are like 3 feet from each other too, like on the opposite side.
It's one of my favorite esports clips of all time.
Yeah.
That's not cool. Is it cool to be like, yeah, who's your daddy? Like a little bit. I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm totally down with a little bit. I don't like the idea of soundproof booths.
You see Omega in chat.
So
if there aren't soundproof booths at the 600K, I'm playing from home. I don't care what the fig. I don't think there will be, to be honest with you. I mean, they're like.
I'll tell you why I don't like soundproof booths.
Please tell me. Please tell me.
I like the crowd being involved.
Well, oh wait, there is one more thing.
I think that's a huge deal. I think it's really important when Cloud9 beat out TSM. I think they should be fighting against the crowd because the TSM fans are mad loud. That's I like that.
Yeah, but that could also ruin it for people, though. Like
there's one more thing about that actually does hurt the competitive scene. We could hear the announcers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
well.
Or the crowd getting hyped to something about to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
The crowd gets hyped when you're taking like Go Fury or Fire Giant, and you normally wouldn't know, but you hear the crowd and you know something's up.
No, that's totally you're 100% true, and it's a solution that I haven't pre-thought of.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, in a perfect world, I want crowd hype to be a part of the competition. But as it stands now, you're right. They have us announcers booming over the PA just straight into the crowd, and and it's an interesting situation that isn't easily fixed.
Correct.
But I think that crowd involvement is fantastic. It's one of my favorite things about basketball. It's an indoor game, and people go nuts. And when you're down by a bazillion points, it matters because the crowd's going nuts. I would love to see Cloud9 come back amidst a chant of TSM, 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 and then what happened today happens, and then the crowd just shuts the hell up. That's a huge deal, and I think that's really cool to have in competitive gaming. But you're 100% right, Wolfie. It just logistically doesn't work out because of all the other stuff going on during the event.
I mean, I know the booths are they're like 10 grand each. It's not something that you just go ahead and build out. Most of the time they get special orders and stuff like that. But I mean, and honestly, like if you're talking 40 grand for 2 sets of them, I mean, I feel like it would be worth it. And with Hi-Rez doing the amount of events that they're doing over the next 7 months, I think it'd be worth it. Like I would love to see it. I'd love to see those boosts come about. I remember we did a roundtable discussion like a few weeks before the launch tournament, and that was a question that we kind of talked about and Bart saw the value in them, but said it wasn't something that they're looking to move forward with for the launch tournament. Whether we're going to see that at the World Championship, I don't know. If they're going to keep the same layout that they did, which I kind of have a feeling they will, up on the main stage, I don't think we'll see it. But I still think it's a great idea, and I agree with you, Woofy, as well. Same thing with F.58.
They're going to have to invest in better soundproof headsets. Because you can go I think
those were awesome headsets, but you're not going to be able to counter a giant 6-foot speaker behind your players that are like 3 feet away from their heads.
Then you need to put the speaker somewhere else.
Yeah, speaker, or, which is always hard with logistics, or you just spend the money and buy the booth.
Well, you can do what LCS does.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Mm-hmm.
LCS has the teams really far apart.
Yeah.
If the LCS teams can physically not look at each other,
Mm.
they're separated by a wall. They're facing away from the screen.
Mm.
And they have extremely soundproofed headsets, and the speakers are in front of the players.
Oh, okay.
And they're pointing away from the players. Mm-hmm. So you can't hear the announcers. And they tell they actually have, like, I believe they have rules for the crowd to not get excited if the enemy team can't see Baron.
Mm.
You're not supposed to make noise if the enemy team can't see it.
Yeah, but see, that's such a hard factor with like a live crowd. You know what I mean? Like, come on now, to try to regulate your crowd hype, like that's what you want. You know what I mean? Like that makes an event. Like at the Smite launch tournament, that made the event. It really did.
I understand that, but they have stuff like that on like TV shows and everything. They tell you how you should sound at certain points in time. The same concept. Just be courteous to the players.
Yeah, you're 100%. It's rough to enforce.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you see it's so you can get loud once the Baron's at like 20%, and everyone gets all excited, and it's like, well, now they took it. But there is a courteous factor.
Yeah.
That could be it. That could be the win-all factor if the crowd and Hi-Rez take those extra measures to just make sure that.
Mm-hmm.
A, players can't hear the announcers. B, they can't see each other. And C, just make sure they can't see the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the screen right behind me? If I turn my head, I should not be able to see the screen.
Yeah.
I should be able to turn my head and talk to my team.
Yeah.
And that's all. And just have just ask the crowd to just chill out on like things that we can't see. That's all. Nothing wrong with that. I think that's a win. That's an everybody win. Oh, get a better freaking headset. Those headsets were not soundproof at all, and they were uncomfortable as all holy hell.
They're always going to be uncomfortable.
What did you think? What did you think? You know, Wolfie, about the second stage layout? It was very much like kind of like the Halo layout. Like you were so close to the the other team.
I wasn't in front of the big screen.
Dude,
I'm an attention whore. I wanted to be on the big screen every time.
There were players, honestly, before, like the day before, that were pissed that they were not going to be playing on the main stage.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I would be too.
Know? Yeah.
My skill level is directly related to how many fangirls are on this channel. And the my name.
Oh.
If there's no one calling me out, I play bad. You know what? At the LAN event, I played good purely because the crowd. That was it.
Yeah.
That's it. Legit. That hypes me up more than anything else.
So how do you manage it? How do either of you guys imagine it at the launch or at the World Championship then? Because they do have that one giant room, but I'm pretty sure they're going to take that second room where they're hosting the regionals and stuff like that, and that'll probably have a second stage, I would think.
I hate the second stage.
This fan goes in chat right now.
I know.
Yeah, I know. Why do you think I stream? I love it. I love it. It gets me happy. It's great.
Work for Allied.
Yeah, right.
But honestly, honest to God truth, like the crowd is. I don't even like the second stage. I think if you're not playing on the big stage, so I don't like it. I think. I kind of wish all the games were on the big stage, or at least every team got to play on the big stage at least once.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at it though, like if you don't have a second stage like that at these types of events, then you're gonna have to take them from best of threes to like best of ones for logistics on time, and on top of that, it would be a smaller tournament because you need to be.
I mean, games off stream. You can save money by playing those games off stream and put more games on the big screen. Save time.
What do you think about second stage, F dot second stage? What are your thoughts?
Necessary evil.
All right.
Logistically, unless you're going to have like
Yes.
a week-long LAN, it just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna get screwed.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. I would like to
Prima
see
donna.
every team get the opportunity to play on the big screen, but at the end of the day, not everybody gets to take home a batch of Girl Scout cookies. Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Like that totally sucks. I mean, I didn't get to cast anything on the main stage.
Yeah, I know.
That totally sucks.
Yeah.
But I gotta hold that because that's how that works.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Shouts to the B team. Fat's
B
my
team.
B team admin. Cret my B team co-caster. It's just how it is. What it is. You know, like it totally sucks.
Yeah.
But it's a necessary evil. You can't just. Time is a component that you have to take into account, and unfortunately, we don't have the resources to have like a 12-day LAN.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, and it's rather unfortunate, but necessary evil.
Yeah. Yeah.
Played on the
Okay.
big screen, though. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I hate you.
I played on the big screen. I'm okay with it, and I got interviewed after. It was a great.
Oh,
thing.
look at you. Look at those smiles.
so
Look at those
excited.
smiles.
I was so excited. It was great. We got up there, and I'm like, yo, I'm just gonna demolish.
That's why I interviewed Shing and not you.
Oh, snap.
I got interviewed by Kelly. Like,
Oh. She's prettier than you, F. She's prettier than you. Sorry, bro.
oh, that.
All right, so on that note, let's go ahead and round out the show here. I think we've gone long enough. 3 hours, 20 minutes. Not too shabby, for sure. Any last comments on any of the subjects, guys, that you guys want to talk about?
No, I think we had a fantastic SWC this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm really hyped about the SPL. I'm really hyped that I don't have to talk about Iron Gaming anymore because that's a scary subject, and I am excited for the future of Smite.
Wolfie, any last comments?
Same.
All right.
I'll be on a new team soon.
All right. That's what I want to hear, dude. That's what I want to hear. If you guys did enjoy the show, please make sure you go down below, hit the streamer feedback button. It's listed under Octane Pro in there. And give Hi-Rez feedback on tonight's show. Let us know if you liked it. We definitely want to hear it, guys. That feedback directly goes to Hi-Rez and lets them know to keep this show on their channel. So please make sure you guys do that. As many feedback submissions as possible, please. That would be awesome. Once again, thank you to Hi-Rez Studios for allowing this show to be on their channel. It is on twitch.tv/SmiteGame every week, every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. If you guys want to check out the VOD, the information is at the very bottom of this image. It's youtube.com/TheSmiteUpdate. You can check out the video VOD. You can also check it out on iTunes as well. Just look up Smite Update. The audio-only version is available out there. And Wolfie, where can people check you out when you're not guest hosting with us?
You can catch me on my own channel, which is twitch.tv/competitive_online.
Okay.
You can follow me on Twitter. I post all sorts of random stuff and funny stuff. And when I'm streaming on twitter.com/CO_Wolfie. I love underscores, by the way. I stream pretty much like 12 hours a day. You'll hear all sorts of like ratchet things that are just for fun, and understand that what happens on my channel is literally for fun and to have a good time.
Yeah.
Don't take anything you hear there just to heart. Yeah, love you guys. Thank you guys for the support and everything. These guys are pretty cool too.
Thanks, bro. Thanks. Where can people check you out when you are not casting on Smite Game and hosting the Smite Update?
Twitter.com/F.NY for all the ramblings of a competitive-minded madman. Twitch.tv/FSWAG to catch me at my worst. I also stream during the mornings when I wake up at twitch.tv/cheermonster. You can find me there 7 to 10 a.m. And I do a little work for Smite Central as well. I have a talk show there on Tuesdays at 5 o'clock. I always have to check because I suck. Tuesdays at 5 o'clock called Ban Zeus. Thankfully, Kyle played it again, so we can go back to calling it Ban Zeus. I host that with Cret, and I also host 3v3 there sometime else. So check me out all over the internet. Most importantly, twitch.tv/FSWAG, twitter.com/FDOTNY.
Awesome. And guys, you can go ahead and check me out. Twitch.tv/OctanePro. SCII. I'll go ahead and put that in chat. Same thing with Twitter for that, and same thing with YouTube as well. Stay tuned, guys. In a few minutes, we'll take a short little break here, 5-10 minutes max, and myself and FG3000 will be going ahead and doing the Smite Talk show. If you guys are not familiar with Smite Talk, it is a show that allows you as viewers to call in and give your opinion on different topics. So if you guys like this show, but you want to see something a little bit different, and you want to see, you want to voice your feedback on different things, feel free to go ahead and call in. We have a good show for you guys tonight. See you guys back here in about 10 minutes. Take care, everybody.